Welcome everyone to Legion Gaming. I'm your host Donnie, and as always I'm joined by co-host Deucy.
Hello everyone.
And today we have two very special guests from our other podcast, Hollywood Video Guys. We have Mike and Randy.
Hello.
Hi everybody.
And today we're having a pretty special episode. It's a bit of a crossover episode because as of this recording, actually as of the release of this recording, you should have gone back to Hollywood Video Guys to listen to our episode on movies based on games. And we're doing something a little bit more fun here with games based on movies. But before we get to that, fellas, synergy. It's that ultimate crossover event.
You gotta love being topical.
Fantastical, yes. But before we get to that, fellas, what games have you been playing? Who wants to go first?
I guess I can.
Right.
I have been focused on two games and two games only, somehow. But I've played the hell out of Vampire Survivors still.
We were doing co-op on that too, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. But solo is a little easier, I've seen. I've already maxed out all of the bonus power-ups that you can start with. And then you just go into a level and stand around for 30 minutes while everything comes and tries to kill you and then ends up dying. But I keep unlocking more and more stuff that they don't even have it grayed out. It just all of a sudden a new level appears on the list. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll give that a shot. And then while you're in that level, all of a sudden a new weapon appears, and nowhere before did you even think that was possible to unlock. I just recently unlocked some sort of spear where this giant triangle comes popping out of the front of your body, and that I hadn't even played before. I'm on the 7th or 8th different level, and
I thought there was only 5 because that's what the menu initially shows.
Yeah,
I think 4 or 5 different biomes, I guess. But I also know the developer's been adding stuff regularly over the last year, so I don't know how much of that is new and what isn't.
And this is all before I've even bought the DLC.
Yeah, which is also dirt cheap. It's like $1.50 or something crazy.
And that gets you a couple more people and at least one more level, and I think even more weapons.
Mm-hmm.
The other game is the one I talked about last time, Close to the Sun. I finally have stayed awake long enough, and I've passed 3 chapters. And I was right. It's just kind of a walking adventure, but with a lot of scary elements and horror. I just finished chapter 3, and I had my first chase, which I use that in the loosest definition of the term because your run speed isn't very fast in that. You just have to go and don't waste time looking back, and you will definitely pass it.
And there's power walking away, I guess.
Yeah, but I do enjoy that game. It has a lot of cool Easter eggs. I'm walking through the ship, and I pick up Albert Einstein's passport.
Yeah, you showed me that, which that was pretty funny that they had those kind of details in it. And I don't know how accurate it is to his. I can't imagine they have his actual ID number or something on there.
No, not an ID number, but it does have his actual age. Based on when you're supposed to be on this ship and when he was born. I know there's a time travel aspect to this game. They've already kind of approached it in the first couple chapters. So at some point, somebody tips him off and says, "Hey, you're meant for great things on land. Get off this ship." And so you never meet his character because he just booked it out of there.
Yeah.
And then the person that chases you, I don't want to spoil it, but it's another famous historical figure, and you're like, this is freaking awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to play that one still because it's not on my Game Pass because I have Game Pass Core. So I have to find somewhere. Maybe Steam has it for $5 or something like that.
Yeah, it should be pretty cheap. It's
a little bit older. It's from 2019, I think, 2020, somewhere around there. I'm surprised I hadn't heard all this time.
Yeah, I never heard of it until you mentioned it in the last podcast.
Yeah. I didn't even see it in passing, here's this Steam game or anything.
Yeah, and the logo's pretty recognizable. You showed me, and we were looking. I was like, that seems like something I should have remembered because it looks like a BioShock logo.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Michael, what have you been up to?
Kind of in the same vein as Deuce. 2 games have really caught me. I went through 4 games right away, and nothing was really catching me, but these 2 games. So the first game is Castlevania Bloodlines for Sega Genesis. I'd never played it before when I had a Sega, and I love it. It's so hard. It's so hard. In fact, this is a funny story. Up until right before I came up for this podcast, I had been stuck on this one boss where he's this giant golem, and you have to break him down level by level until you get to his head, and then you can start actually inflicting damage. And the whole time he's if you touches you, he hurts you, and if he throws down falling rocks on you, so you got to dodge at the same time. And I just was dying over and over and over again. And I was with, I can't remember which one, probably one of the Belmonts, but I had the whip. And the whip doesn't have as much range as the guy with like the javelin.
Yeah, it's
so
Eric.
you got to get pretty close to hit him with the whip. And the thing is, like, if you jump, it has that weird like jumping thing, so that like he constantly is
It's
hitting
that
me.
stiff Castlevania jump.
yeah,
that is
where-
somehow like more fluid in this, but still clunky.
Yeah, and I'm still like running into. So I was dying over and over and over, and literally, I was like, I had about a half hour before we were gonna come up here. I was like, I'll just play it for a little bit, and finally got past him. Right at the last, I had like 2 bars of health. Got past him, got to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, which is the next level, and now I'm fighting these like winged. I don't know what they are, but they're like killing me, and I had to start it. So that was it. So that one, and then the only other one I've been playing a lot of is oh my gosh, the boxing.
Fight Night Champion.
God, I don't know
Yeah,
why.
you were telling us about
Fight Night
that.
Champion. Yeah, Fight Night Champions, Xbox 360, I believe. Excellent game, so fun. I wish there was some kind of like remake or remaster with new boxers in it. Also could have gone on your horrible bosses podcast.
Oh,
I was about to
yeah.
say the same thing.
That guy from what's his name? Bishop, is that his last
I
name?
can't remember, but I don't recall if I beat him or not.
He's
Look,
as
I
hard as
haven't
Tyson.
played that game in so long that I would have forgotten all of those.
Yeah.
But I do remember hitting a wall in Champion
Is
because
he
that was pretty
is he in
hard.
like a story mode?
So he's like, yeah, the story mode is that like you're this guy who was like a middleweight fighter, and you go to prison and you come out as a heavyweight, and you have to work yourself up from the heavyweights, and it's kind of like Punch Out. Each guy you fight has like a unique gimmick that you have to get past. Like, oh, your right arm's broken, your right hand's broken, so you have to use your left. So anyway, at the very end, you get to this guy. I think his name's Bishop. I can't remember what his first name is, but he is so impossibly hard. He like one punch knocks you out and stuff, and you have to be perfect against. He's like Tyson.
And there's multiple phases of that.
Yeah,
fight.
yeah. It happened. Yeah, there's like 3 different fights you have to basically have in it. So it would have been good on your last podcast for impossible bosses.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's 2 instances of yes, I finally beat him. The fight continues.
Yeah.
Oh, his final form.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what
Like,
it
I
is.
thought this was boxing. Why is there phases?
Like
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
really
those are the two.
wish they would make a new Fight Night because that's like one of the series that we played the hell out of on the 360 era.
And it's like one of the best boxing games ever.
It really is, and it's crazy because I was telling you guys, I looked up. The last one was like 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
It's insane, especially with how much bigger boxing has gotten since then that they haven't done anything.
And it's so fun, and the controls are fluid, easy to use. You
Each
can
one
either
got
do the
better, really.
Traditional, or you could use the stick if you get good with the stick. I kind of do a hybrid of both because it's easy to jab with the buttons, but the stick's good for like different kind of combos.
Yeah,
Anyway, I
stick
don't want
always
to take too much
felt
time,
great.
but that's a great game.
I
you
do
think-
think that they are working on a new one. Did you not see? Like it was like a year ago, maybe a
No.
year and a half, that they released. Like they showed like a tech demo of like that
I don't
series
remember.
on. It looked really nice, but it was obviously very stripped down. That was just like the 2 fighters in the ring.
There's
there was nothing else
boxing-
really generated.
Game on Steam.
yeah,
now,
it's
but
called Undisputed. I think it's still in early access.
Yeah, I
and,
saw some preview. I was like, eh.
Well, the thing is, like, it looked really impressive, but
Yeah.
then I was reading more into it, and it seems like they're updating because it's early access, and it seems like with every update, there's negative feedback. Like online, I guess there's cheaters that are a problem, and
yeah.
like some of the physics don't make sense. Like one guy was saying like how he was beating up another guy, and all of a sudden the other guy just hits him with one punch, he's knocked out for some reason.
Oh yeah.
So there's still kinks to be worked out, but
Cement in the gloves.
yeah. So I hope that ends up being great, because it's
need
kind of hard to crap on an early access game, but it's like it's crazy how few boxing games we have.
Do you think are any of the fight nights on PC and they have maybe mods of updated?
I don't know actually.
Fighters.
I'm
maybe.
not sure if they were released on PC. I have to look.
I don't know either. I only know them on 360. I don't even know if they were on PlayStation.
They were PS3. Yeah.
Okay, I
PS3.
couldn't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a great game. Sorry to derail, but it was
No,
a great
no
game.
derail.
Yeah.
It's worth
I'm gonna
enjoying.
derail
It's
this
boxing.
next one
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
Randall, please bring us your derailments.
Yeah.
Oh, well, first, all right, since you last heard me, Legion Gaming listeners, I had just gotten a PlayStation 5. In that time, I did polish off Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2. Obviously, both of them, phenomenal time. I also just very recently, I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago, beat XCOM 2, which...
Oh, you
Oh,
ended
wow.
up finishing
is-
it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
wow.
did
You
finish
beat
it.
that?
What-
I
yes.
never seen into those.
Yes, I had to restart the game, though, because if you don't start that game knowing exactly what you need to start building,
yeah.
you're in trouble.
Yeah.
But if you did like me, where I was like, okay, I see what I need to do, and then I did that, and it was like the entire time I was just punking the computer
nice.
pretty bad. And so that was a lot of fun. I haven't started the DLC for it. I also did beat Resident Evil 4 that I borrowed.
Yeah.
And but these last few weeks, it's been kind of a struggle to start something new. I do need to get back to Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
I think most of the time I spent on that game was trying to choose my genitalia. It's a good game, but it's just I've had a lot going on, so I've been a little busy. So when you get like an overwhelming game like that, story wise, you feel kind of like, oh, I kind of want to make sure I can devote several hours.
Yeah, you want to
today
lose yourself
this.
in it. It's not something you can
Exactly.
play for like an hour and pick up. Like you really want to.
Like I did that a little bit last night with some Street Fighter 6. I tried to go to Rocket League, but it required an update. But that's okay.
I've been wanting to play that too recently.
Yeah,
I haven't
I
played
have
in a long
fast
time.
internet, and it was just moving at the speed of molasses.
I think that's the
ridiculous.
Xbox issue because I don't know why
It might have been,
sometimes.
yeah. And then I downloaded a few other games like the Sniper or something on PlayStation.
Ghost Warrior or something like
Sniper
that?
Ghost Warrior, I think,
Yeah.
and then the other one that was like a FMV movie game, Erica. I downloaded.
Oh, I've
that.
heard of that one.
Yeah, it said you'd played it on there.
We should try doing a co-op of BG3 at some point.
We should, yes. But yeah, so that's what I've been playing, and I did listen to the most recent podcast where you discussed the boss battles, and I think aside from the Star Wars, because obviously I did beat that game, I don't think I played any of those bosses. I don't think it was all those games I just didn't happen to play, or maybe I didn't get that far.
Yeah.
And obviously boss battles were a lot more prominent back in the day, like the early consoles.
They were very disparate. Like this was the level, that's the boss.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. They were all like that. And so I was curious to hear more representation for like the newer bosses. And I was like, oh, I don't think any of you guys got far enough in Elden Ring to
Yeah.
because there's a lot to choose from there.
There are some really annoying bosses in there. Like I've only fought a handful. But for me, I've always felt those games are a little bit more fair because at least I have control over the character and it's really just learning it.
Right.
Whereas like with something like Batman and the Joker in NES, you could be really great with Batman, but it doesn't matter with Joker because he'll just bulldoze you and kill you instantly no matter what you do, unless you cheap him out.
Yeah, and it's game over too.
And it's game over.
So
Yeah, that's
I
fair
think
too.
like, technically a lot of these modern bosses are actually harder.
Yeah.
But
I would say
you
so.
get to
Yeah.
do that. You get to try again.
You
word,
do.
word of mouth too, right? Like you didn't know that the Joker was going to be so hard.
Exactly.
in
Oh, no,
Batman,
back
but
then, there's
now-
no way.
Now you go into Elden Ring knowing that you're gonna. It's it's a
Yeah, there's so many videos on it on YouTube
Yeah.
already telling you, like, hey, look, watch me spend hours on this one boss.
yeah exactly.
And that's why I liked a lot of those Elden Ring bosses was because it depends on your character setup. Like I had like basically a sorcerer mage type character. So there were a few bosses that were just astronomically difficult. And then there was a few other ones that are considered astronomically difficult that I beat in about like 10 seconds. Like not even joking. Like I was like, that's the second hardest boss in this game. The first hardest boss in this game I lost a few days of my life. Like just watching myself die, thinking I had her on the ropes and then one shot KO'd. And yeah, so you definitely should go back to those games just to. I know they're tough. Like I know Mike mentioned before, not like in the kind of almost like torture porn a little bit.
Yeah.
But and that's true. But you get multiple cracks at it.
You do.
Like,
And it's this thing that I should be clear. Like, I don't dislike those games at all. It's just they're hard for me to get into and sit for hours and hours to play because there's a lot of games I'll sit there with a boss for like an hour and a half and I'll beat it. And then for some reason, like the Souls games, I'll get through and it's like, all right, 40 minutes in, I'm like, I'm ready to do something else because it's like, for me, I get to a point where you almost get over anxious with yourself and you're making more mistakes because you're like, oh, geez, like I almost had it that time. What'd I miss? And then the third run is like 10 times worse than the first run, or the 15th run is worse than, the third run too.
I'll always think back to the pandemic when I had the PS4 and borrowed a God of War and then running into a Valkyrie that I was not prepared for, but was constantly close enough that I thought that I could win this.
Absolutely.
And here we are, 4:30 in the morning, and I'm just like staring dead-eyed at the TV, just wondering, where did I go wrong for these last about 5 hours or so?
And I get lost in those too. You're like, I'm that close. I'm just going to do it. And yeah, it ends up, time goes by way faster.
Knowing how I am with the bosses that we did mention on that episode, and how, like you said, the more you go at it, you get more frustrated, and then you start rushing things, and you start forgetting what you did well in the previous runs.
Yeah.
And Dark Souls, I've never played a Dark Souls or Elden Ring, but I know those games are set up to beat you.
Yes.
I would not beat a single boss in that game.
It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
That's just not my thing.
And it's normally not mine either, but for whatever reason, I got pretty invested into Elden Ring pretty easily. and was determined to mow through every single boss that they had. I think there was only one that I didn't. It was like the biggest, baddest dragon. But I also realized that, beating that is to only undo an ending that I was not going to get anyway.
Yeah.
So I kind of didn't worry about it that much.
Like I feel
probably
accomplished
could
enough.
have. Probably could have destroyed it with some like asteroid dropping field or whatever. And it
Like
would've
you
been
and
fine, but-
Ruby Weapon.
Yeah. I'd be like, no, I beat Emerald Weapon. That's cool. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. For the games I've been playing two. I've been on a pretty good streak about playing games and finishing them lately in the new year. But last episode I was talking about Gravity Circuit, which is like this Mega Man homage to Mega Man and all those 16-bit games. I finished that. I breezed through it in about 6-7 hours. And I love everything about it because it's hard as hell.
Yeah.
The last level is freaking nuts, though. Like, there's a crazy boss rush, much like Mega Man. And the final boss looks like the final Sigma form from Mega Man X.
Oh, nice.
So that was one where I sat there for a solid hour trying to beat because, like, I knew I could do it because I found the attacks. It's just getting, my hands to do what I needed to do. Mm-hmm. So I finished that, and then I picked up Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. And this is going to be an early contender game of the year for me, to be honest with you guys, because it is like Metroidvania bliss. It's got everything I want. Like, it has these awesome platforming challenges. The bosses are really challenging. The game looks pretty gorgeous. It's a huge game. Like, I not rushed through it, but I beat it in like a week, but it was like 18 hours long. It's freaking amazing. So I'm probably going to clean up that. I think I got like 65% of the items over 18 hours, which is pretty crazy because like I've discovered most of the maps. So there's like a lot of stuff I just haven't found. But I would definitely recommend playing that if you're in the mood for some sort of Castlevania-esque or Metroid-esque kind of game.
Yeah, I definitely want to pick that one.
It's on my
I've
list.
heard good things.
It's really good. I had heard how great it was before, and it's always like, how great is it? I'm like, oh shit, like this is really good. I was like glued to it every night.
Those Prince of Persia games like barely ever miss. They're usually
It's
always
pretty rare.
Yeah, they usually are always good.
Yeah, like I know that some of the later ones got a little bit of hates because they weren't as good, but
Yeah.
I still enjoyed the hell out of them. They're still really fun games.
Even back to the original one that was like on PC.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
That's hard.
Yeah, it was hard as hell, but it's great. It's great. All right, so with that, we're gonna move on to our fun-filled movie-based games topic. Fellas, we are here at our main event for games based on some of our favorite movies, some movies maybe not so favorite. I would say in general, these are based on some of the movies we love because we probably wouldn't have played them otherwise.
True.
Right?
That's what sold us on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when we were at that age.
Yeah, exactly.
'Cause
So
there was a lot more back then than there are now.
there was a lot more back then, especially in the late 80s, early 90s. So this actually started earlier than I anticipated because, for me, I grew up with the NES, much like the rest of us here. So we knew a lot of movie-based games, or games based on movie then, but it really started in the early 80s on the Atari 2600 with, there was a game on Halloween, the horror movie, which I can't imagine how horrifying that must be or scary for a kid.
Atari.
Yeah, there's Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. There's a game based on the movie Krull, which I was shocked. I didn't know there was a Krull game.
Also, I saw you listed on there Porky's.
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 The
How?
awful comedy.
What did you do?
It's pretty terrible. So I don't know how many levels there are, but there's one level where you're in a shower and you're like trying to, like when you're showering,
Of
and, like,
course.
you're jumping around. And I use the term loosely because it's like, all the characters are made up of like 3 blocks. Like
And
they're-
probably just bright pink.
yeah, bright pink and blue, and then little pixels for the shower water.
Did one of those porn companies that made things for Atari before
think
just
they
get
had to have.
contracted
Like
to make
Custer's
Porky's?
Revenge.
Yeah.
They had to
They
have.
did Porky's.
You know
Yeah.
what's not on this list, but I'll briefly touch on it that I distinctly remember playing when I was like really little is the Empire Strikes Back game for Atari.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
That one was
And
actually pretty good. It was
It's
like
like
Defender.
a side scroll. Yeah, it's like a
Oh.
side scroller, and there's like walkers.
I was
and
gonna
you're-
say there were
you're on
walkers in the
snowspeeder,
The
and you're
AT-ATs.
just- Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
like you're just shooting them over, and it seems unending in some ways, but that was really fun. That was
It
a really
was.
good. That's probably the best.
And
one
that's
of
the
this.
best way you could do it too, because the Battle of Hoth is a great game
Yeah.
to make into a great scene in the movie to make into a game.
That is in so many Star Wars games
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Did any of you ever play the old arcade that was like around
Yeah,
that time?
the
where you-
wireframe one.
Yeah, the wireframe Death Star trench run.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
really cool.
That was
Yeah,
really
that was
good one
pretty
too.
cool.
Yeah. So there's also games based on Tron. There's Adventures of Tron, and there's also Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is another hilarious looking game.
They just gave Mike Myers a chainsaw.
Yeah,
Called it a day.
It's the same thing. It's like it's a shaft that's black and has like 3 squares around it rotating as like a chainsaw. It looks so stupid.
That's so funny.
But perhaps the most notorious that we're all familiar with is E.T. the Extra Terrestrial.
Yep.
So this was released in 1982. Spielberg was a big gaming fan. Like he appreciated the medium, and he thought, he figured, what else could we do with that? So Universal and him decided to make a game on this. And the CEO of Warner, Steve Ross, said, "I think it's a dumb idea. We've never really made an action game out of a movie."
Boy, was he gonna be wrong.
Boy, was he gonna be right. Yeah. So at the time they hired Howard Scott Warsaw. He made games like Yar's Revenge and actually Raiders of the Lost Ark. The difference with those is that he had 6 months to make Yar's Revenge and 7 months for Raiders of the Lost Ark. And he was given a whole 5 weeks to program and complete E.T. the Extra Terrestrial. So there was no way this game was going to be good in any way possible in 5 weeks. Yeah. And
even at Atari standards.
Even by Atari standards.
I don't think 6 months would have made it any good either.
No.
Yeah.
No.
A year, it's 5 years.
He got a good incentive though. They gave him $200,000 and a trip to Hawaii to get it done in 5 weeks.
That's pretty solid.
So I try to think, like, I can't imagine what stress and how many hours he put in to get a game, designed, coded, shipped, and out in 5 weeks.
And they never heard from him again
Yeah.
in Hawaii.
So needless to say, that game released and it was a complete bomb. And at this time, the gaming industry was also going down, is on a downturn. And a lot of people credit this with sort of being a factor with crashing the game industry in 1983, which I don't know how big of an impact you could really attribute to it, but I imagine it did have some factor into it because they ended up burying a ton of ET Extra Terrestrial cartridges out in the New Mexico landfill.
That's crazy.
It's insane. Like, they had so many of these cartridges that didn't sell that they just dumped them in a landfill. It's unbelievable. And that was like a myth and a legend for a while until it was proven to be true when they released a documentary called Atari Game Over, which is really good. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Have you been filming that?
I think I saw that one.
It came out I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, like during the pandemic maybe.
Oh, I heard about it because I want to say somebody that I also watch on YouTube said that they did, parts of the commentary for it.
Oh, I think Angry Video Gamer might have been involved to it too.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Well, the movie that he made, that was the primary plot, was trying to discover the landfill of ET cartridges, and they just so happened to find them kind of around that same time.
That's hilarious.
Exactly. So the game did not do well. It was buried in landfill. It didn't sell well. So for a while, they really didn't make a whole lot of games based on movies because the Nintendo had released, and then from there we saw the floodgates open from every property you could possibly imagine. Any movie had some sort of game related to it released on the Nintendo. So we have quite a list. We're going to cover from basically the Nintendo era up until current because, I would say the Nintendo era probably has the most with 16-bit, and then they kind of got after that. They were kind of, they didn't release as many. It felt like.
Did movie studios approach LJN, or did LJN just have the money to buy up all of this?
That's what I'm curious about because I'd assume that LJN probably would have said we'll do all these for cheap. Right?
Yeah,
it's probably something where they offered it cheap and they say we could do this, that, and the other because they sold regardless.
Yeah.
And as a rental too, it's probably a good idea because especially for Nintendo, we were all 3, 4, 5 years old. And the whole idea is that I don't know who Metroid is, I don't know who Mega Man is, but I do know who Terminator is. I do know
Jaws, Friday the 13th.
Exactly, I know those properties.
Yeah.
It's all the things you're familiar with.
Yeah,
you can slap it on the box and there you go.
There was I think Karate Kid was one of the earliest.
Yeah, so I wanted to touch on a few before we get to our list here because just to name a few, there was a Dick Tracy game on Nintendo, Total Recall, Predator, The Karate Kid, Friday the 13th, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Top Gun had a couple games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Willow, RoboCop had a few games. Gremlins 2, Ghostbusters 1, 2, Die Hard. Again, this was just the NES. There's an insane amount of movie-based games.
There's a game we could have put on last week was the Top Gun ship.
Oh, yeah. Just landing it. Yeah. Heck yeah.
That would have been a fun one, yeah. So all of us here, we've collectively put together a list of some of our games that they're not necessarily our favorites. They may be notorious one way or another. Maybe we enjoyed them, maybe we didn't enjoy them, and maybe we thought we'd enjoy them because we loved the movie. So Mike, we're gonna have you kick us off with one that I also played, Who Framed Roger Rabbit from the Nintendo.
Yeah, I owned this game it was one of the few NES games that I owned, and I loved it. It's weird because it gets a lot of hate up there with like Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy had the same kind of control scheme and everything, and basically the whole idea is you're like in a car. You're in a car, the taxi from Roger Rabbit, and you drive around trying not to get caught by the weasels.
The weasels.
And then you'll go to like different spots, and then you'll have like a level inside of the wherever building you go to. The control scheme for the car was really difficult.
It was slippery. It
once
was
you
meant
got
to be
used-
like cartoony, but in the worst way.
Yeah, once you got used to it, it wasn't so bad, but it was really difficult. A lot of people are like talk bad about this game and how not great it is. I think as a kid, I didn't know any better, so I thought it was fine, and I enjoyed it. I remember having good times with it, even if I was always losing and dying.
I played a lot, but my problem with it was I didn't know what to do because it tried to do the investigative detective thing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that I couldn't connect as a kid, as like a 5 or 6 year old. Like I just kept punching weasels.
Yeah.
I remember there's one room where like there's a woman there. She's like scrolling back and forth, and you could just like. And what's his name in the movie?
The detective?
Bob Hoskins,
Yeah.
Eddie
yeah.
Valiant, I think.
Eddie
yeah.
Valiant, yeah.
So I remember you could mash B to like, he would raise his fist and pump his power up, and you would punch the woman in the face, and her head would like, spring back and forth and shift around. I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing this. Like, I can't get anywhere.
Not in 2024, you're not.
No, yeah, definitely not now. Did you ever get to the end? Did you ever fight the
Doom?
Doom?
No,
yeah.
I only saw it on videos.
Yeah, I never
got
got there either. As a kid, I think I just like was happy just driving around trying not to get caught by the weasels most of the time. It was the same idea where I didn't know what the premise of the game was or like how to win. I was just driving around.
If the driving was anything like Dick Tracy, as you say, then
it was
similar.
Never.
Yeah,
I would have never gotten there either.
Yeah,
it was being shot at and everything too.
It's tough, and it is. It's legitimately tough. But like I said, as a kid, you don't know any better. You just think that all games are like this.
Fun fact: this was developed by our friends at Rare, who developed the great games like GoldenEye and a bunch of other stuff.
Oh,
so this is one of their earlier games, which is
from
hard to
humble
believe.
beginnings.
Yeah.
What a game! Yeah, it's a good one.
So the next one on the list, we kind of all collectively put on a list, and I think this is genuinely a favorite for all of us. And we also did an episode on it way back, but it was Batman for the NES. Fellas, let's talk some Batman on the NES.
I'd say this is definitely when I learned that a movie could be a good game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because before that, it was like, like you said, the Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But I also remember seeing Ghostbusters in magazines.
Oh yeah,
and I knew even then that did not look good.
It was bad.
Yeah.
I had part 2 and it was terrible. Randy, Mike, any?
Oh, just I mean, it was great. When I rented it, because we only rented it, I did not do very well at it.
Me neither.
It's a really hard game. So if you're a little kid, it's gonna be a lot harder. I do remember my dad got probably to the end. I don't think he beat the Joker though.
The Joker's
But
ridiculous.
I do remember the scene with Bob the henchman, and,
Yeah.
and he's like kind of above you with the thing. That's burned in my memory for whatever reason. But this was a really good one, even though it doesn't feel terribly Batman-ish.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of just like wall jumping and a lot of batarangs.
yeah.
Not a lot of punching.
Yeah, and there's like weird mechanical enemies and proximity mines. It was really weird, but I only got this back then because of the cover, and it was Batman. Like I didn't know how good the game was.
Yeah,
which
Batman was a big deal back then.
It was, and I think that's the case with a lot of these games too. Is we knew, like you said, Mike, we had familiarity with whatever the movie was, and we saw the covers like, well, I have to check this out. It has to be great, right? I love the movie.
It helped that they threw in some cutscenes. Like,
Oh yeah.
one of the ones I saw, because this is the only level I got to, is when the Batmobile shoots its way into that chemical plant. And I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. This is what connects it to the movie. And then I didn't get past level 2.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I don't think I got past level 3 because I remember being that wall boss in level 2.
Oh yeah.
Like once or twice. It wasn't much.
I never played it as a kid. I definitely remember the box, and I remember the black and yellow and everything. But I never played it as a kid. I played it obviously as an adult. And graphically, it's really good.
It is.
For
And the
an
music's
NES game.
incredible.
The music's great for 8-bit and everything, and it's really impressive graphically for what they had to be able to use. For
It
those
is.
things,
It felt like Ninja Gaiden on steroids a little bit. Like
Yeah.
It
It
was.
was a little more advanced.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this one, if you have an NES, like this is really an essential for the library on there.
Mm-hmm.
And we also talked pretty in depth in it in I believe it was episode 4 of our podcast, where you can go back and listen to how much we love that game.
And it gave a false sense of security that a lot of these movie-based games will be good.
That's
Yeah.
fair too. Yeah, like Batman was great. Yeah,
These all will be great, right? right?
Right?
right? Yeah, nudge, nudge. Yeah. So the next one on our list, this one it's mostly on the Super Nintendo version. But Deucy, tell us about Jurassic Park and why you put it on your list.
Because that Super Nintendo version I love. It was probably the best. For me, it was the best Jurassic Park representation. you had to go around the entire park, and it was kind of laid out like it was in the movie, except you don't get to go around in the Jeeps or anything. But you do have to go through a jungle to get to the shed to reboot the system, like Ellie did. And then there's the big visitor center. And I really loved the combination. At the time, it was pretty rare, but you have the top-down view while you're going through the jungle.
That's right.
And then you go into a building, and it's very rudimentary first-person shooter.
Yeah, like Wolfenstein or something.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't fast-paced like Doom. The dinosaurs pretty much stayed still, or they paced back and forth, or they would surprise you out of nowhere and they would start attacking and you'd die really quick. But it was really tough though, because there was no password or save system, and it's kind of a long game. Like if you want the true ending, you have to go around and find all of these hidden raptor eggs in buildings and in the overworld map, and the Nintendo Power for it really came in handy. It had a very tiny map that I needed like a magnifying glass to see where all the eggs were. But it really helped. And I just remember spending one afternoon, like maybe from like lunch until dinner, and I finally finished it. I couldn't put it down. I couldn't stop. Or if I did, I had to pause and do something and then come back. I couldn't turn the system off.
Yeah.
But I did finally complete it, and what you get for it is like a one screen thank you. The dinosaurs have been stopped. That's
what
it.
a reward.
Yeah.
I remember when you did that too, because I had always borrowed this from you, and I could never beat it because of that reason. It was, for one, it was really hard for me, and there was no save or password. So it's like you turned it off. That's it. You're starting from square one all over again.
Yeah.
And I had more familiar with the Genesis version, which was still difficult, but it was like more typical side scroller.
I only played the Genesis version, which I really loved. And one thing I was going to add to everything was that like Jurassic Park for us, our generation, was an insane deal. It was literally
a
everywhere.
huge thing.
Action figures.
I was buying everything with the logo on it.
And we were hook, line, and
Yeah.
sinker into everything they were doing. So the games, I remember it hooked me for the Genesis one because right at the beginning, I think it's a Velociraptor that comes, or no, Tyrannosaurus that comes
yeah.
out and says Sega.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
And-
that for sure. Yeah.
Does he shoot like darts?
He has trank darts.
Yeah, trank darts.
And you can also play as a raptor, which controlled like crap. But
Yeah.
if you're playing as raptors, who cares? And you can eat the little tiny raptors or little dinosaurs
compies.
for health. The compies for health.
And I remember the T-Rex being extremely difficult at the beginning. Is he on the raft and then he comes out? Or no, is that after the raft? There's like one where he's on a raft and then the T-Rex head comes out.
I think it's like
and,
the second or third level. It's a little
very
bit after.
difficult. Yeah, I
Every
remember.
level was difficult in there. And each of the versions are different too, because the one I actually enjoyed the most, which I found out much later, was the Game Gear version.
Yeah.
Because that one has different varieties. It's like a light gun game for one level, like it's a side scroller in one. There's a driving area. It's actually really cool, and no one talks about it. I really didn't discover how great it was until last few years.
That is one of the cool things you see in the 16-bit era, and probably 8-bit too for all I know, but the 16-bit era especially that you don't see anymore is that like there was differences between
The systems.
system games.
Yep.
So it made you like, at least if you had something, you had a unique experience to your system, which made it more fun to me. I like that.
Like
I did too.
Aladdin.
Like I mentioned last week, even the Nintendo version was different than these two that we've talked about.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, way different. Where the T-Rex you said was the second boss.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And impossible.
Yeah. So just to give some context to this era, the 16-bit era, there was a ton of games released that were based on movies. Just to name a few before we get to the rest of our list for this era was there was a Stargate game, which I know you and I have both played, Deucy.
Oh, that was another one of my favorites.
It was pretty cool. I only played the Genesis one, and I really liked it back then.
I think that one though is one of those times where they were the same on both systems.
They were.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was also True Lies, which was like this weird isometric over-the-top shooting game, kind of like the Die Hard game for Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
I remember renting that. There was Demolition Man, which was awful. Time Cop, the Van Damme movie. Three Ninjas Kick Back, Dennis the Menace, Home Alone, Toy Story, Lawnmower Man, Lethal Weapon, Alien 3, Warlock, which is based on the horror movies. Everything.
There was
had-
a Judge Dredd too, wasn't
Judge
Yeah,
Dredd,
Judge
that's
Dredd.
right. That was one of my favorites
Yep.
back then. Yeah.
That Toy Story game was phenomenal.
That
Yeah,
game,
that one was
that
fun.
game looked incredible.
It looked great. I had the Genesis version, obviously, and it was the sound was great. The graphics were great. It had cutscenes. Like
I remember renting that, and I enjoyed the hell out of that game because it, as far as I could tell back then, it looked like the movie, like you were playing the movie.
Yeah.
It was difficult, but not too difficult. Like you can get past things as opposed to like other Disney properties where like, oh, second level, you're never getting past this, just so you know.
Yeah.
Can't wait to be king? Oh, you better wait.
yeah. You're gonna wait quite a while to be king in this game.
Yeah. All right, so the next one on our list here, this one was, I forgot who all of us put on this list, but it's another great one that we also did an episode on. It's Aladdin for the Genesis and Super Nintendo. So
Speaking of Disney games.
Yeah, Disney games. Again, there's a ton of Disney games on here too. Oh my
That's a
god.
natural segue right there.
Yeah, perfect. Who wants to kick off with Aladdin? Like, why do you love Aladdin? Mike, maybe?
Yeah,
give it
okay,
another
yeah. So
perspective.
again, because I never had an SNES. I had a cousin who had one, so I played a lot of SNES on his system, but I only had a Genesis. So I played Aladdin on Genesis. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was hard at certain points. But you get past it. Was there a password system for it? I can't remember.
I
The
want to say
Genesis
yes.
one,
I want to say
the Super
yes.
Nintendo one did. I can't remember if the Genesis one did or not.
Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah, I
That's
want to
really
say
weird.
yes, but I can't remember. But overall, I loved the story. They had little cutscenes, not like cutscenes, like little graphic things, I guess you'd say. But the music was great. The controls were really good. The levels were fun. Overall, just great game.
Yeah,
overall.
it's definitely one of the best, I would say, games based on a movie of the 16-bit era. Like that one, I could still play, and I played a few months ago, and I had an awesome time with it.
Visually, it's really good.
Especially the Genesis one. The animations
the
are
Aladdin
amazing.
and Lion King both visually looked great on Genesis. They're in the contention for like the best looking games on Genesis.
I would say so, because that's what led Disney to make their own games like Mickey Mania, which also looks really incredible.
Yeah, I did it. I was enjoying Aladdin, but when I played it, I don't think I ever got past the dungeon.
I
And
think
it's
that's a
not
good
that
sticking
far into the
point.
game.
No, that's literally like the third level,
Second.
second.
Yeah.
Second or third.
It's a rough one.
It's the third one. Yeah, it's the
Okay.
third level. Yeah, and it's tough. It is tough.
Well, you know my feelings on it based on our episode.
Yeah.
I always loved the Super Nintendo one more because I grew up with it. But the Sega one was the one that I always wanted to play at like the Toys R Us kiosk.
Yeah.
I would just run over there, even though I didn't have a Sega system. I would run over to that section just to play the demo of that one. And then when I met Don and went over to his house, I would always play it there too.
Yeah,
great.
I had that one growing up, and I didn't have the Super Nintendo until like way later. I think I got it at like Blockbuster Used or something. Because I think I was at that point where I had it on Genesis. Like, well, I love this game enough, and I
Yeah.
rented a Super Nintendo and beat it. So either way, either version of the game you could get, and you'll have a great time. I'm more partial to the Genesis one for sure, though.
Yeah, I mean, I just grew up with it, so just like how you were with the SNES one. I will say, like the music, both of them are pretty.
They're both pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I like to give the Genesis one more of an edge because I feel like they did more with it.
Yeah,
And also, it's the Genesis, and it sounds really good for a Genesis game.
but it is nice to have that music from the movie in it too, like the actual
absolutely.
soundtrack. You know, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
The next game on our list, this is from Randy, and it's a movie that is very fond to our hearts, and also one we just covered on the Hollywood Video Guys. It's Terminator for the Genesis.
Oh yeah, Terminator. So this would be the franchise when I was young that you make a game of it. I mean, along with Star Wars, of course, you make a game of it. I'm probably gonna want to play it. And now, what's funny about this one is, I think this one came out like after like Terminator 2 or Nintendo Entertainment System game.
Was it that
I
late?
think so
That'd be
because
craziness.
it came out like 7-8 years after the movie Terminator. It
Yeah.
was like they made it to coincide with the release of the Terminator 2 VHS release. And it's pretty tough, or at least I mean back then it was pretty tough. I just remember the first level and the boss fight against that big like tank like
the HK
drone,
tank.
yeah,
the
like the
HK.
HK tank, and just how much of a damage sponge it was, and going on from that. Now, one thing that's really good, and I looked at some YouTube videos, is that the music was pretty awesome in the Genesis version, and I don't think I ever made it out of Tech-Moore against when you first truly face off against Arnold.
You brought this game up, and I thought it was pretty awesome that you even mentioned it because the Genesis one, like, I vividly remember the cover and renting it because it looked awesome, especially with the Genesis aesthetic with the grid.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then, like, I remember getting nowhere in that game. I don't even know if I got past the first level. 'cause
It's
of the
not
HK
easy.
tank.
It's not easy.
It's
that
really
first
hard.
level is really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could get through it, but like I said, once it was Tech Noir, nope, that's not happening. Apparently, though, it might have been harder just to us, but really, it's pretty simple. They're saying, just keep moving forward, just keep shooting.
Yeah,
And-
you don't have to kill everything.
Yeah, they'll drop health items, and you'll pick them up, and you'll survive. And it is odd that I had played this on Genesis, whereas when we had a Nintendo is when we rented games like Total Recall, which obviously makes sense. That was a few years before, and Terminator 2. And I remember Terminator 2, another one that I was really enjoying until you're on the the motorcycle chase, and I don't know how many times I got smushed by that semi truck that the T1000's driving.
That's a good segue because we did, some of us did have the Terminator 2 games on our list, so we could just kind of, move into that. But yes, the Terminator 2 game, we talked about that on the bosses as well.
Yeah.
Because I think T2 on Nintendo only had like 4 or 5 levels. That's what made it worse. So it's like, that second level was brutal. And then we also could talk about Terminator 2, the arcade game, which that was an arcade favorite of mine just because of how awesome the cabinet looked and how fun that game was. But good God, it was an ungodly quarter muncher. Like I remember, it was like 50 cents or whatever, and like you die instantly in that game.
It was made with the pinball machine game to draw in our generation to play it. Like you go by and you just stop and be like, an Uzi? Terminator?
The cabinet was amazing.
Yeah.
It's still one of the best looking arcade cabinets. You got like that one, Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah.
Like those are just iconic looking cabinets. And like I said, this was a quarter eater. You would probably put in a few dollars worth before you realized that your freaking gun was broken.
Yeah.
You didn't even know, because even if it wasn't broken, you could have died just as fast.
You just have to adjust for the faulty site.
Did you ever feel like there was ever a site that was good in any of the
No.
T2?
No,
Never,
no.
right? Never. They were always like 30 degrees off of wherever
I totally forgot about that, but you're right. I remember like the calibration would be off. You're right.
Always.
Because when I played at home, like I didn't have the Menacer on the Genesis one. Yeah. And so you had the cursor, so you could just hold the thing on there and shoot. But you're right. I remember like at the arcade being so mad
it was
when like
so bad.
you're aiming straight and like the cursor's to the left.
Top left.
Always. You always had to adjust for it when you play the game because it's always just way off.
I totally forgot about that.
I think I was always more partial to the pinball Terminator 2.
That was a great pinball machine.
Because I knew the Uzi one was a quarter muncher.
Yeah.
And at least with pinball, I felt like I might have had a little more control, even though sometimes the ball just goes straight down the middle.
Right after you pull that awesome revolver level.
You get to fire a gun.
Yeah.
Fire the gun, and it bounces around.
And then it goes straight down. I didn't even get to hit it.
Yeah, you get to fire a gun.
But it looked great because you had the actual like Terminator in the machine and everything.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah.
That was probably, it's up there with like Addams Family for my favorite pinball game.
Sure.
It's easily, I'd say, a top 5 pinball cabinet.
I would say
of all
so.
time.
Doesn't it even have like some voice samples on
It
it?
has voice samples,
Like
and
little mini movie thing, those like little scene things.
And I believe that I think there's like an endoskeleton skull on the table
Yeah.
as well, right?
You have to shoot into it and stuff.
Like if I ever have a like at my own house or something, I would love to get that table. Like if I was to get a pinball machine, I think it'd be Terminator or something. It's just so badass looking. Or like Twilight Zone or something,
It was one of the better ones.
Yeah.
It's one of the holy grails for that kind of pinball machine.
Definitely. Next game on our list, another Batman game, Deucy. Batman Returns for the Super Nintendo.
Oh man, this might be my favorite of the early Batman games.
It's freaking amazing.
Until the Arkham series came out. But I actually never saw Batman Returns as a kid. But I had this game. I don't know. I must have gotten it for Christmas, or maybe you got it for me.
I was
going to
say, that feels like I might have gotten it for you.
Yeah.
Because I used to go to the warehouse.
Yeah.
To buy used games for you for Christmas, like where my parents could get. And I'm pretty sure I got Batman Returns for you because I got RoboCop vs. Terminator for myself.
And I am so thankful that you got that because it is one of the best side-scrolling beat-em-ups. And it just has all the classic sounds that you would hear from a Super Nintendo or Sega beat-em-up. And yeah, like I said, I'd never seen the movie, but I felt like when you play this game, you get a good gist of the movie from start to finish.
For sure. Like it follows the movie, I'd say pretty closely.
Yeah.
With each of the levels, and it feels great. Like a lot of people say how great Final Fight is, and granted it's like an earlier game, but this like the Batman Returns game on Super Nintendo is just freaking amazing. Like everything feels great when you punch. Like all the enemies have weights.
You really feel like you're wearing the heavy suit of the Tim Burton era.
Yeah.
Like your punches really have meaning. But I don't think I beat it too much. I might have gotten to the last boss only once or twice. It was really tough.
I beat it. I know I beat it a few times because my brother was also going through it. But I vividly remember thinking how cool it was that you can grab an enemy and like you could walk back and forth with them, and you could throw them in the background, and like it would shatter the window,
or you could grab a second enemy and smack them together.
Yeah, like that was. I'd never seen anything like that in the beat 'em up back then. Did you guys have any experience with this? Did you get to play this much back then?
I did not play this one at all.
I never played it.
Oh man!
Oh wow!
Like I said, I didn't have a Super Nintendo, so
I didn't either. I only had the
look
Sega.
Look it up on your Pi.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Wasn't there one released on Sega though? I vaguely remember a box of it.
Yeah, that one's more like the first Batman game on Genesis, where it's a typical side scroller. I think the Super Nintendo one's like it's by far a million times better. It feels so fun.
If I was gonna pick one Batman game, it would be Batman and Robin for Sega.
Oh, the Adventures of Batman and Robin?
Yeah, which was
Oh,
based
God.
on a TV
Oh,
show.
That one's like Contra and Batman. It's
so
freaking
good.
good.
Yeah, that one's amazing.
Yeah, and to lump these in together, I know we all have experience with these, but or with this one, Batman Forever.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Oh my god, for the Super Nintendo,
Wet
Game
fart.
Gear, Game Boy,
What a
PS1,
terrible game.
And Sega Genesis.
and Sega Genesis.
I played on Sega.
Yeah, so I originally played this on Super Nintendo, and if you're not familiar with this, it's like Mortal Kombat where it has digitized actors. They're not Val Kilmer and I almost said Chris Cornell. It's not it. Chris O'Donnell.
That'd be amazing.
I would have loved Chris Cornell on this. Not Chris O'Donnell. It's just whatever stunt guys they had in there. So it looks like Mortal Kombat and it plays like Mortal Kombat, but it's a side scroller and it is awful.
Awful.
I owned the Game Gear version, and it was exactly the same. It was weird that it came out on so many systems, but it was all the exact same crap.
Digitized nonsense.
Yeah, like
I-
the first level was always the bank.
I rented the Genesis version, and I owned the Gamecom version.
Oh.
Whoa, Randy.
Yes.
You had a Gamecom?
I got it for Christmas one year, probably because it was like $10 or something at Target.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
And Batman Forever was in there, and that thing was basically just my portable solitaire machine.
Yeah, that's what I built in.
But yes, the Gamecom version is even
my
worse. if
god,
you
that's
can
probably the
imagine.
worst version by far. I think there's a Tiger Electronics version, but I can't imagine it's worse than Gamecom. They're
No,
both
that's
on
got to
even
be better than
yeah,
all of
yeah.
these.
But I do have fond memories of this game though, because I remember when we rented it, just like my dad was just so amused by the sound effects in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when if you got killed by one of the mobsters, and then he would just turn to the screen and just be like, "Forget about it." Yeah, it was just the funniest sound.
I was hoping for a digitized version of Kiss from a Rose, but I never really
No,
got
I wish
that.
we did.
Yeah.
It sucks because I you want to like this game when you're a kid. Like
Of course.
we've talked about on Hollywood Video Guys, like how big of a deal Batman Forever was at this time for us.
You wanted
like,
to like the movie.
Well, we did like the movie. Like back then we were 10 years old.
Yeah.
But like these games were just bad. Like I have, like they were kind of like a guilty pleasure for me, but they're not good. And then the PS1 version is based on the arcade game, which is actually really cool. It's an ugly game.
That one.
Yeah, we played that together, and I can't believe because I got that at Target for $10.
That one is an acid trip.
It is. Like, there's a billion things flashing on the screen, like symbols are going up. It's actually really cool. It's just an
Crazy.
ugly game.
Yeah.
But it blows my mind because I got it for $10 at Target, and the stupid thing's worth like $350. It's one of the rare PS1 games. I
Dang.
can't believe it.
You still have it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I still have it.
amazing.
It's a great game. Yeah.
Amazing.
So Batman Forever, not great. Batman Returns, pick up for your Super Nintendo library.
Batman Robin. I've only seen it played on YouTube, but
It's
it looks
awful.
It's weird. It sounds like it had an interesting concept and then executed terribly.
I rented it from Blockbuster, and I remember the first level is it the museum in
Yeah.
the movie, right, where Dr. Freeze, where Mr. Freeze is. So I couldn't get past it a little because I didn't know what to do. The alarm was going off.
Yeah,
all these-
it was
these
based
bells and
on
whistles.
the real time of the game.
I didn't even know.
You had to get to the museum at a certain time because that's when the heist was taking place.
Yeah.
And it was kind of open world. You could get in the Batmobile and drive around.
Yep.
But then you would also get lost trying to get to the museum.
Yeah, it was not
I never played
good.
it.
I was very disappointed with that one. Granted, I was a little bit disappointed with the movie too. I think back then. Even
think
though
we all
I
were.
enjoyed
A
it.
little bit.
The next one on our list, also from Deucy here, another fun one. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie for specifically the Game Gear version.
Yes, specifically. Probably my favorite. That one and the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but that's based on the show. Two favorite Power Ranger games ever was on the Game Gear. Because they're set up kind of like a tournament fighter, like Street Fighter. It's just one-on-one. Putties keep jumping in. They don't have a really big life bar. You knock them out. The boss comes in. You punch him around, but he obviously you don't beat him. And then he goes away. Some more putties come. Then comes the actual boss fight, and you have a very basic set of moves. Every ranger has their own weapon and has their own set of moves, but it's always down to forward or forward, down, forward. And once you beat the boss, then it's always pick your Zord, Megazord, Dragon Zord, Mega Dragon Zord, and then you fight the boss as one of those, and then you go on to the next level. And Power Rangers, the movie, was weirdly set up like you were watching the show. It had some of the enemies from the White Ranger era, and then it gets into the movie where you go to that other planet, you talk to that one chick that
Karai? Was that her name?
no,
I can't remember what her name was.
oh no, starts with a
Ninja
D.
Woman? I forgot her name.
Yeah.
I can't remember what her name
yeah.
was.
But yeah, she gives you the ninja powers, and then you come back and you beat Ivan Ooze. And at the time, my only other reference was the Power Rangers game for Super Nintendo, which very barely had anything to do with the movie. So this on Game Gear was great. I would sit there and play that over and over. Like it was until later when I played the Genesis version, and then I was like, oh, this is also another faithful recreation of the movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you guys played any of the versions of the Power Ranger movie games?
Yeah, I played the SNES and the Genesis one. And
Okay.
they're all really good. Like,
Yeah.
I would say my tier list is. I think my favorite probably would be the Genesis one because that's like it's pretty close to like a Streets of Rage game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
And
yeah.
I love the music in there too. Like the digitized versions of like the theme song and everything. And then the Game Gear one and Super Nintendo because the Super Nintendo version was ungodly hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never beat that game. I think I got to like the train level. I don't know if you guys. Didn't you? I swear you beat it, Deucy.
I beat
crazy.
it, and I stayed home sick from school one day, and then I ended up playing it.
Sick.
Yeah,
Sick of not beating that game.
and I beat it. And Ivan Ooze is another like terrible. He's like the Joker in Batman. He's got all of these moves, and you can barely hit him. The weird thing was like you beat him, and you never get to fight him in a Zord or anything. You run out of there. There's a bomb set, so it's like the end of a
weird.
Metroid game.
Yeah.
You have to run out before the bomb explodes, and then just at the very end, the cutscene is you see the Ninja Zord hand come in and pick you up and save you.
Oh,
That's
cool.
actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the Genesis one, and it was a lot like Streets of Rage, which I'm like, if there's any property that should be like a Streets of Rage game, it's Power Rangers. It's purpose built
fits
for that.
perfectly.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
It was really fun. The music was great. All the fighting was really cool. Yeah, I love that game.
Yeah, fantastic. So this next series, this was recommended by Randy. Technically, really all of us. We all had one game from this series, but this is going to be a persistent series through each era. And in this specific era for the Super Nintendo era, it's the Super Star Wars trilogy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And when I brought it up, I wasn't really even thinking about just Super Nintendo because it was on a Game Boy as well.
That's right.
And I did own the Star Wars: A New Hope on Game Boy. These are really hard games.
Yes.
All of
These
them
are exceptionally
So hard.
difficult games that I somehow don't hate.
Mm-hmm.
And what I just remember, I don't think I ever got past Mos Eisley. Getting out of the
first
Space
level?
Center.
In the speeder, or
No, I-
No.
I never got past the speeder.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, when you're trying to get into the Falcon and out of there.
Oh,
So it was after
I
the
don't even
speeder.
remember.
I
Oh
think.
yeah, that's
Oh,
a
okay.
little bit ways in, I think.
But this would have been. This is the Game Boy one I'm talking about.
Oh,
I probably
sorry.
don't.
I
I,
thought it was Super
probably
Nintendo.
don't have as many memories of Super Star Wars and Super Empire Strikes Back as much as I did Super Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I played Super Return of the Jedi a lot at my cousin's house, and I love that game. That's probably my favorite of all three. You get to be Wicket at one point,
Yeah.
and like
And you play
Luke's
as,
got his
as Leia,
lightsaber. Yeah.
Chewbacca. I think you play as Han too. Like that one, you
Yeah.
switched a lot of characters.
And Luke's got his green lightsaber at that point in it, and it's so hard still, but it's fun. And I think we had like a game genie. Maybe it was a game genie. I can't remember. We had some
Yeah,
way of getting
probably
to
Game
other
Genie.
levels.
That's necessary.
That made it more fun because you could actually play it.
I
Yeah.
think in Super Star Wars I got to the Jawa Sandcrawler. That's like the third level. And only then was very rare and probably recently with save states, not even on the original cartridge. And then Empire, I only played the first level where you're in the snow.
That one's tough.
Yeah. And then I actually never played Return of the Jedi yet.
Yeah, I think I played Empire Strikes Back the most for some reason. I don't know if someone had it or I borrowed it or I rented it a lot. But I did like Return of the Jedi the most because that one seemed like it, again with the variety of characters and everything, and like it looked really great. I think one notorious thing about all these games is the slowdown it has.
Oh, yeah.
That persists through all of them. Like there's so much crap going on at once. It almost looks like a cool action movie because it's like in slow mo with everything. Like Luke is spinning with a lightsaber spin move he's got, right?
Like 1 frame per
Yeah.
second. Yeah. Did you ever play, or maybe not play, but did you ever see those like NES ones from Japan?
Hilarious.
Where, like, Darth Vader turned into a giant like monster.
He's a
Yes.
scorpion.
Yeah,
I
a
think.
scorpion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never played them, but they always look crazy cool.
Yeah, they had Star Wars on Nintendo. I think Empire was on
Empire.
there. I don't think
Empire.
Return of the Jedi was on
Nope.
Nintendo, right? Yeah.
I don't remember it. Yeah, I don't think so.
And also there was a game I didn't get to play this much because it was an expensive arcade and wasn't around. But I think Randy put this on the list.
I
or Mike
did.
right? Star Wars Trilogy Arcade.
Because it's just the best arcade games.
It's really
It's
cool.
awesome.
It's so if you're going, back in the day, maybe it's not advisable to bring your bag full of quarters to this game because you will get brutalized. However, if you happen to be at the Dave and the Busters and you have your eat and play combo, and maybe it's unlimited games night where all the
yeah.
arcade games are go to this cabinet. This they're all the like
Trench Run.
they got the Trench Run.
Isn't there one where
Endor.
you're in a lightsaber duel?
Yeah,
Yes,
with
those
Darth.
were bonus
Yeah,
stages.
Yeah.
that was really
So
cool.
you would have to move the joystick, and you would also have to fight Boba Fett in that same way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely one where, like I said, if you're somewhere and you get those unlimited arcade games, go have fun because it still looks really good.
Yeah.
It was from
And this came
98.
out in like was it 98?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a little bit later, but 98 feels like a really early release for this. But yeah,
First
it's
time
really
I ever
fantastic.
played this was at Circus Circus in Las Vegas.
Nice.
And in Circus Circus, there's like, obviously the casino for the adults, but there's like a giant arcade for the kids there. And they had it there. And I must have spent like $5 in quarters just for the first level. No, I don't know, but pretty much like that. And it's like the first 5 minutes are so fun, and you're killing ties, and then you're doing the trench, and then you get in the trench, and you die immediately, and then you're like, oh, crud, I gotta keep going.
Yeah, I think the first time I ever played it was on like a middle school trip to Great America. And they had the arcade there, and that's where I finally got to sit down and play it. And yeah, it devours your money quick.
It does. I think it was like at least $1, if not $1.50. It's
Yeah,
Probably.
it was expensive.
Yeah.
because it just looked so much better than every other cabinet that was there.
You could. The cool thing about it though was that you did have 3 levels to pick from right off the bat, so you didn't have to like progress to those other levels. So like you could have variety at the very least.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
paid like $3 as an entry fee essentially, which is still not bad, but at the same time you might die in like 5 minutes.
This was a carousel essential.
It was.
when I was
Yeah.
back in the day.
All right, guys. So now we're kind of shifting into the PS1 to PS2 era, so with N64 in there. And the first game that I want to talk about, that I have to talk about no matter what, because I feel like I'd be, I'd be doing a disservice to myself and everyone else if I wasn't talking about Street Fighter, the movie, the game.
God.
So, oh god. So this game with WrestleMania the arcade game single-handedly sold me on a PS1 back then. I didn't even know it was the thing.
It did?
Yeah, because I was
Sold.
yeah, like I was about to buy.
Well, his other option was a Jaguar.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was steadfast on getting a Jaguar, and then
That's so
my
funny.
parents and I, were at Toys R Us. And I was looking at the game case. I didn't know what a PlayStation was either. I saw WrestleMania and Street Fighter. I was like, oh well, I want a PlayStation for Christmas. I'm like, all right. This game really saved me from the Jaguar is what it did. So this game, it's based on the movie of the same name, obviously, but I always laugh because it's Street Fighter the movie the game.
That's so crazy.
And it's a fighting game. It uses Mortal Kombat's like digitized sprites, so all the actors from the movie are in here. Like Jean-Claude Van Damme did a lot of mocap for this.
So crazy.
Kylie Minogue and all the other actors. It's a pretty chunky game. It's the PS1 and Saturn versions are based on like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, where it's like the fight system's closer to that. And there's an arcade version that has like some of Bison's henchmen. That one's a little bit more floatier, but it's still not much better. But there's actually a really cool story mode in this where you play as Guile and you have like multiple choices on how you can get through the story. So like
Wow.
you take one path and it'll go this way and like something
Branching
might happen.
storylines in the
Yes.
Yeah.
Street Fighter.
So
the
you
movie,
can
the
either
game.
go home or come
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah.
I
Go
choose
home?
go home.
Yeah.
And turn off this game. And then you put in Street Fighter Alpha instead.
That is so funny. It had more of a story than the movie did.
It did, yeah. And what we're saying is like this game is not great, but I love it nonetheless. Like there's, I'd say most people don't like this at all.
I've never played it.
You never
I-
played it.
I
I think
actually
you played
did.
a little bit. I don't remember how much you
I
enjoyed
actually
it.
chose to play it with you. Like I would be
Yikes.
like, "Hey, fire it up!" Like,
Yeah.
For some reason, I could do a
Fire
little
it up.
better against you in that than any of the regular ones.
Yeah.
Because it was just so broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he said fire it up, he meant light it on
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
Like, I bet you could do just as well against him in Street Fighter. Just Street Fighter.
Yeah,
The original?
Street
Yeah.
Fighter one.
Yeah.
That was
Because
button
yeah,
mashed
he's not,
as hell.
he might know how to do all the moves, and it'll happen once every 20 times he tries
Exactly.
Yep.
All that ability goes out the window.
Yeah. Now we're on a level playing field.
it. Yeah, it'd be like an NFL coach watering down the field to take care of the speedy team that's coming into town the next day.
Well, I'm just wearing socks and no cleats.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to touch on that. It's objectively it's not a great game, but I love it because of how much fun I had at
And
this time.
it definitely fits our
It
category.
definitely fits
today.
our
yeah.
category.
It's literally the category. Like it is the category.
This would be the poster shot. I might just
Yeah.
post this
Yeah.
when I post the episode or something. Yeah, so I had to touch on that, but we'll rinse our palate with this next big one that we all collectively had on the list, and that's GoldenEye from the Nintendo 64, which
The opposite
My
end
God,
of the
fellas.
spectrum.
Yeah.
What was this game again?
Yeah. You know, it's that old game,
Golden
Golden Axe.
Golden
What?
Axe?
Golden Axe,
It's based off of the Las Vegas Casino Golden Nugget.
Yeah.
It's
yes,
based off
yes.
that really small movie franchise.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Bond.
Yeah.
Bond. Got it. Yeah.
But
Kinda like Jason
GoldenEye. Yeah, exactly.
Same
Ethan
idea.
Hunt, all of them. But GoldenEye, fellas, who wants to kick us off with why this game is pretty important?
To me, I would say this is the first thing that comes to mind when you say movie-based game. And I mean, it's what got me into the Bond series of movies, because up until then, my dad had been a fan and I'd seen the VHSs, but I never watched them. And then I just happened to play this game. And I think it really showed that you could do it well, and it also helped that it came out 2 years after the movie. It wasn't a rush job to release with the movie.
Yeah, they delayed it multiple times. Like it was supposed to be a railgun shooter before.
Yeah, and on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And no, this I think turned things around for a little bit at least, until we got more trash. But
Yeah.
it showed that it could be done well if you really put your mind to it and focused.
Did you buy it? Did you buy it for N64?
Yeah, I rented it first and then immediately bought it. I don't even think I waited for Christmas. I was like, we got to get this.
You know where I played it first, Randy?
The Youth Center.
The Youth Center.
Oh, that's
PG
great.
Youth Center.
That's
yeah.
where I played a lot of. That's where I played
WCW.
multiplayer the most.
Yep. Yeah. So you'd fire that up. It was either like Mario Kart, GoldenEye, WCW, NWO, World Tour were like the three that were on rotation. And yeah, GoldenEye was the one you played multiplayer on all the time.
Yeah, I want to say that this is one of the few games that we completely skipped renting and went right to buying, and it probably was because of my experience. Like, no, you're gonna rent this game, Dad, and then you're gonna want to buy this game. So
Yeah.
let's just
save those few
mosey
bucks.
along.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll
As a
save
kid,
that
you're telling your
rental
dad
for a different game, maybe the one that we're gonna talk about next. This was at the time, and it still is, the best movie tie-in game of all time. And at that time, it was probably the best shooter of all time.
I
Yeah.
would say so.
Yeah.
Especially,
So, like, this was
yeah.
really special. And it was the best multiplayer experience that you could have at the time. You could have 4 players
Yeah.
playing at once. Yeah, it's
Slappers
chunky
only.
now. I can't play
No
this
odd
game
job.
now.
No odd job.
It's hard to
slappers
play
only.
now, but you're absolutely right. Back then, at the time, this was as good as it could possibly get for a single player game. Because another thing too, for the single player, like there was, it was objective based. Like that, I don't recall doing that in any game.
No,
really
that was
before.
And-
Pretty much the
And
start
it
of
was
that.
Yeah.
Different
a ton of
objective.
content.
a
There's
ton
so
of
many
levels. Yeah, there's unlockable stuff, unlockable characters, cheats,
Yeah.
which you could. I mean, it was
Big
a
head
huge
mode.
game. Yeah.
But like different objectives based off
Based
your
on difficulty.
which was really interesting because I'd never seen that before. Which is nice, like if you just wanted to play the game.
I wish more games did that, because how cool is that? Like you could go through it multiple times and like have more objectives, like they're more difficult and everything, or you have to seek things out you wouldn't originally seek out. Like I wish more games did that now.
Yeah, the replay value was crazy because of that.
Oh,
I was
it
going to say it was probably the first game where I wanted to replay it like that. Other games, obviously, I replayed because that's all I owned. But this one was the first time where I was like, oh, I'm going to try something different this time.
I also remember being completely flabbergasted when I watched the movie. I didn't see the movie for a long time. But I remember being flabbergasted when I watched Bond, and I was like, "It's not a Walther PPK,
Yeah.
like it's not the KF7 Soviet,
But
or whatever." Those
I
things
was also blown away because I saw the movie after the game, and I was like, this is highly accurate to the game level.
Yeah, they do a good job of rendering the levels from the movie pretty well. Pretty
Even in the beginning of the movie, after he jumps down and he's in the facility, you can see the floor plan. He goes down those stairs, he goes down the hallway and around the corner. You're like, oh crap, I've been there.
yeah, it's really cool, and it's a faithful adaptation for sure.
Yeah, so we'll use that to segue into Randy's next choice, which is sort of tangentially related to GoldenEye. It's another one that was pretty fun on N64. It was Mission Impossible, Randy.
And it has a lot of similarities with
It
this
does.
because
This was after GoldenEye, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it was after GoldenEye, but it also was originally supposed to be Super Nintendo.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yes, this was basically like axed because it was getting near the end of that 16-bit era, so they decided let's just make the jump forward to N64, and obviously you don't have to worry about the movie deadline. The movie came out
Like
about the same time.
93, I think.
No, I don't want to say 94, 95.
96.
Was it 96?
Yeah.
It was 96.
Yeah,
I
it
was
was,
older
older.
than
it
that.
was
Wow.
around
Yeah.
the time of GoldenEye.
I was
It
young. I
maybe
was
a
in
little
fifth
bit
grade.
after. And so this one was pretty cool because it was like, I don't know, I can't think of a game that I played that was of this type before it.
It was
Maybe
different.
Siphon
Siphon
Filter out
Filter
this
was
was
later.
Was that later?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was it was very odd, and I remember when you first started playing it was kind of hard because you'd never played. At least personally, I'd never played anything like it. So
Yeah.
it was
You have to complete objectives.
Yeah.
You have
You have to be very stealthy.
Yeah.
stealthy, which was great. I hadn't played Metal Gear Solid yet at this time, and I don't think
No, it
Metal Gear
wasn't
Solid
even
came
out.
out.
It
at-
wasn't
Might have
out.
been out.
Yeah, exactly.
That
It
was
wasn't even out
98.
yet.
Yeah, late 98.
So this was like that first kind of semi-stealth based, objective based type of game where you have a lot of different equipment at your disposal. And again, it is chunky. It's on the 64. And almost all those games, if I go back and play them now, are very chunky. But I had a great time with it. We rented it and I beat it. So I loved it for that. Like, all right, I got to actually beat one of these games that I was looking forward to. I don't know how it holds up because I haven't played it in 20-something years.
I played it a
I haven't
couple years
played
ago when I got it for N64 again. Well, for the first time because I only rented it, and it's clunky. It's still cool, but like it controls pretty poorly.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, a lot of N64 games do.
Yeah, I remember the laser level being a highlight. I remember it took a
Oh,
while
yeah.
to get good. Like that was the one I got stuck on for like a month, and then once I figured that out, then the rest of the game is almost like a breeze compared to that because that level is difficult to get through the lasers and like maneuver through them and stuff.
Yeah.
but that's a faithful adaptation of the movie too.
I really enjoyed it even after playing GoldenEye, and I thought this is what I want the next Bond movie or Bond game to be because it had a lot of elements where you don't have to just go in guns blazing. In fact, you better not go in that way. The only problem I had was I got to a certain level, and I don't know if there was some sort of glitch or something, but like I was captured and I'm trying to escape and I'm trying to get over to this window. And when you go in these doors, I would just automatically fail every time.
Oh, interesting.
And I couldn't figure out, I was reading these strategy guides and everything, and they're like, oh, simply just go along the wall over here. I'm like, I can't. I immediately open the doors and lose. I can't even get to that wall that they're talking about. And so I never beat the game because I was just like, well, something's broken.
Yeah.
I think I beat it. I'm
I
pretty sure I
did beat it.
Yeah.
What I thought was funny is that they wanted Tom Cruise's likeness for it.
Oh yeah, it doesn't look
wouldn't
anything
do
like
it.
him.
He would not sign off on it due to his staunch opinions on violence in video games. So you
Violence
can't
in
you
movies.
can't beat Tom Cruise and commit violence, but you can watch Tom Cruise commit actual violence.
Yes.
Yeah, all the time. Well, not
won't do
actual
it.
violence.
Well, I know, but like in a movie, like that is literally Tom Cruise that's pulling that trigger here.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't even lend it to Minority Report either. There was some like generic blonde guy.
Well, that might
on
have been
one,
for the
too. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah. So we'll finish this era off with the same franchise we ended last era on, and that's the Star Wars Episode 1 Racer for Nintendo 64, and also the Phantom Menace for PS1. Both drastically different games. One definitely better than the other.
Yes.
Fellas, what do you have memories of the Racer for N64 and Phantom Menace?
Well, I'm in the racer in the arcade.
There's that one too, yeah, with the big pod.
Oh,
the
with
pod.
and the
yeah,
two
you had and it was
controllers.
kind of based off the 64
It
game
is.
still,
Yeah.
but yeah, I remember that a lot. But the pod racer game is great. It's really fun. I played it recently on
It was a
Xbox.
game with,
No, it was
games with gold.
yeah. And it was really fun, and like it holds up well to this day. It's a really fun racer. It's easy. The tracks are fun. It's kind of F-Zero-esque in a little bit of the way, but more of like an N64 version of
Yeah,
that.
the sense of speed in this is insane. Like, I remember back then having a hard time just grasping how fast it was, because there was some parts where you're like threading a needle practically.
Yeah.
And it got more and more difficult as you got on. You can unlock parts and like mod your pods and everything. It was really freaking cool.
Yeah.
I always like that about going into Watto's shop and then finding the newest upgrade.
Yeah.
There were so
There's
many
this
different
junkyard.
parts. And you could either go and find a used version that was cheaper and it would kind of do the trick, or you could just buy new. I was also intrigued by the fact that it's kind of like just a season of pod racing, like a season of NASCAR or
Yeah.
Formula One.
Yeah, it was.
And then the very last race is the one from the movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's another one like GoldenEye where like they were very faithful to the track layout, where when you fly around a certain turn, you're like, oh, that's from the movie. I've seen that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job. And was there sound in it? Was there like,
There
"Now
was-
this is pod racing?
It
or
was. They
something?
had
Oh,
some
yeah.
voice clips.
Yeah.
There's, like a digitized version of the soundtrack.
Watto would always talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Stereotype voice.
Yeah.
And one awesome
There.
gimmick this had was you could hook your two controllers, one in the first port and one in the third port. And the second port could do it in the second and fourth port, so your individual sticks were like the pod racing throttles on
That's
each side.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you would push both up, right, to to
Yeah.
jettison your engines forward, or you could turn them if you put one down and one up. So it was a really cool gimmick that they went that far with it.
How to quickly destroy 2 N64 controllers.
But yeah, that's another one. If you don't have an N64, it's worth seeking out, or just get the. I think it's like HDFI remastered version on Xbox and PS4 and all that.
I want to say, I think it might be on Switch. I think.
Oh, yeah,
it's on Switch. You're right.
too.
Yeah, they released it on there. You're right.
Yeah, so you can get it on
It was a
Switch
few
online.
bucks.
Yeah. Yep.
But then the adverse to this is Phantom Menace, which Randy, I think, did you play?
Yeah,
this one
I
as
put
well?
it on there for one reason only. There's not much to say about this
No.
game. It wasn't very great, but it was probably the first Star Wars game I played that was on like a disc. So therefore, it sounded really good.
It did.
You
had
actually
clips.
got like really good sounding soundtracks.
Yeah.
Better than they sound on 64, and obviously much better than on any of the 16-bit consoles.
Yeah,
That's all. That was primarily my memory from it. Was like, whoa, cool. Then like the full motion videos parts that they would have in there.
I rented this, and this was this has probably one of the worst camera angles in, I don't know, not in any PS1, but one of the worst camera angles on the PS1, where it's like the camera's so high up, like you're really just kind of looking down Obi-Wan's back.
That's so weird.
It's really stupid, and it's like it's really clunky to control. I just remember renting this and being insanely disappointed because episode 1 was huge at the time.
It was awesome.
It was everywhere.
Yeah.
So when I played this, I was excited for it, and it ended up being just really, really bad. Like it controlled bad. It was really difficult. It's not a very good looking game either. And then the Pod Racer game came out, I think, after this, and that was like it rinsed the palate. It was perfect.
Do you guys remember the Star Wars? It was kind of like Rebels, but it was for the. I think it was for the Xbox maybe, and it was episode 1-ish, but you're flying like the Naboo starfighters.
Oh,
I think it was
Starfighter.
yeah,
yeah.
which is kind of same
Yeah.
idea as like Rogue Squadron.
I think it was made by the same people.
But it was followed the movie. It followed episode 1 basically, but you're a pilot in the Naboo fighter squadron. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
And then, they
Rogue
had
Squadron would, if it was actually based on one of the movies and not just a continuing of the Star Wars
that'll
universe
be on
in
my
between
list.
the movies, it'd be on my list, and it would be near the top
Yeah.
of like all Star Wars
so
games.
good.
Easily, especially Rogue Squadron 2 on GameCube. Oh my god, that was so good.
I mean, that does have a trench run, so it does follow that.
Well, and 3, we might talk about it later, but like 3 was really based on the movies because you could go the Luke route.
Oh, yeah.
And you could end up on Dagobah. You would fight in the Sarlacc area and stuff like that. And then if you went the Wedge route, that was always the extra stuff, the side stuff.
Yeah, but I just remember that game kind of thinking of episode 1 stuff. That was that was the other end of the spectrum. That was
Exactly.
actually good.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll now move into these PS2, GameCube, Xbox here, kind of covering up until the 360 and PS3. So there's gonna be less games that go on here because I think for when we played a lot less of them, and there's also a lot less being made. Like in this year, they had games like Iron Man, which were based on the Marvel movies at the time. There was Superman Returns, Captain America.
Oh, I was gonna say Superman Returns. I never played it, but I've seen it played, and it had the best concept for a Superman game where he's finally invincible, and it was the health of the city that you had to watch out for.
Yeah, which is like that makes sense. That's
Yeah.
what it would be. Yeah.
Yeah, this game, I played it and like I didn't hate it. It wasn't amazing, but it's definitely one of the better Superman games at the time. I just think it got unfairly crapped on.
Yeah,
at the time,
because people didn't like the movie, so they're
yeah,
like,
exactly.
why play the
I
game?
enjoyed the movie too. I'm one of the few on there. But if we're gonna start this year off, I put this on my list because I really enjoyed it. It's The Warriors, which is based on a movie from I think 1981 or something like that. I
No,
forgot
it's
what
the
year it was.
70s.
70s? Oh wow, even worse. So this was done by Rockstar, who made Grand Theft Auto, Manhunt, State of Emergency. Like they were on fire by I think it was like 05, 04.
Oh man, State of Emergency. I forgot.
Yeah, that game was not great.
Yeah.
Either, but the other one.
Sorry.
Yeah, no,
Just
that's
popped
that's
my
another
brain.
one. That's a whole other episode. Yeah. I remember the hype for that one.
Yep.
But The Warriors, it's based on the movie, and this is a pretty cool, I guess it's pseudo open world beat 'em up.
Yeah.
Right, where you can do things like you can steal stereos from cars, like you can break into them and take out of there. It's like it's following the movie. So the Warriors are trying to escape the other gangs and try to get to I think like the subway or something.
They're trying to get to their base, their home
Their
base.
home base, okay.
Basically, so what happens kind of from the movie too is that they get pinned for killing this gang leader of a rival gang who's kind of trying to bring all of the gangs of New York together.
Mm-hmm.
And so now all of the other gangs are trying to kill them. So they're trying to just get home.
Yeah.
And they have to go through all the enemy territory to get there. And then it follows the movie plot a little bit in that way.
Yeah, but the game is really, really good. It's I think it's it's kind of had a cult following at the time. I don't know how many people like it now, but it's definitely one of the games that you would never expect to be based on a movie, especially that old.
It's a really smart idea. Like if you're like you said, they were at the height of their power, and we just did it last time on your podcast where we said, what movie would you like to see as a game now? And so that's what Rockstar did. They went back and like,
Yeah, the
Warriors, they fight a lot.
It's like, who would have really known about the movie back then? Like, I don't
Yeah.
think again, that movie wasn't a big movie. It was
Yeah.
it had a cult following at the time too.
It was a good game too. It was like graphics were done well. I think they had some maybe of the same actors from the movies. That
Yeah,
did
I forgot
voices.
who. Yeah, there's a few in there.
The Warriors come out and play probably comes to mind the most. But I think they had some of the actual actors from the '70s movie do the VO for this. So it was good and the graphics were good. Yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, and it's one of the best you could find on Xbox and PS2. I don't think it came to GameCube.
No, so.
But it's a pretty damn great game. If you can find it, unfortunately, it's not anywhere else, but it's worth buying. It's probably only like $20 at this point.
Yeah.
The next one is a huge one
Oh,
for all of
man.
us. Spider-Man 2 for the Xbox, PS2, and GameCube. This is I would say easily regarded as one of the best movie-based games ever. Right?
It might be one of the best games ever too. Like,
That
you got to
too.
put it on the list of
Yeah.
that.
What
Yeah.
are your guys' memories of this one, Deucy?
Just blown away. It was like the next generation after GoldenEye. It was like, oh, I'm another game that can show you how to do a movie game right. And even Spider-Man 1, the movie game, that was okay. And
I
then,
really like that one.
And then they took this to the next level with just the open world swinging. It was probably beneficial that Grand Theft Auto had come out and changed the gaming landscape.
That's a good point.
And then they were like, here, let's do a movie game based on open world.
Yeah.
You're right, because the first Spider-Man game was like level based, and that was like the first game I got for the original Xbox.
Yeah.
and I loved it. But you're right, like by this time, GTA was out, GTA 3, and it definitely influenced this in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, Randy, what were your experiences with this one?
I rented it and absolutely loved it. I don't know what did you guys think the first time you climbed the top of the Empire State Building and just
Oh,
looked
yeah.
down?
Oh
Yeah.
God,
Wasn't that amazing?
that was like the coolest thing
That
ever
was-
at the time.
Absolutely, it was.
It was crazy.
So this game was really good. This is probably right up there under GoldenEye for maybe like the best games that we'll be covering today. I do have one rather unfortunate memory about it, and that's when my PlayStation 2 not so kindly informed me that your save file has been corrupted.
Oh.
So I didn't get to beat it. I got most of the way through it and
Yeah.
had to return it. And
I liked that it followed the movie pretty well too. Like you had like the train, you had the stuff with Doc Ock,
And they
yeah.
threw in some extras.
Yeah.
You know, to
So-
pad it out.
stereo, right?
Yeah. So it had like it followed the movie pretty well, and it was like fun and it's crazy how much. I mean, Grand Theft Auto obviously influenced this game, but I think this game influenced a lot of,
It did.
especially comic book games going
Because
forward.
you
yeah.
finally felt like Spider-Man. Like you weren't like a
'Cause this is
glass cannon. Like you were
Yeah.
Spider-Man. You were rescuing people. You're doing, you could even do dumb stuff like deliver pizzas, which was like the most fun thing ever at the time.
Catch the balloon
Catch
that
the
had
balloons?
Yeah.
gotten
Well,
away.
and like especially for Spider-Man, because other Captain America, other guys, they can be beat 'em ups because they can just do side scrolling, but it doesn't make sense for Spider-Man to be a side scroller because
Yeah.
he can go in all dimensions. Like he's that's his gimmick is to go in all these different directions and stuff. So it was cool to see that open world for the first time.
Yeah, this one it's an easy pick for like top one ever because it's just so damn good. It's still pretty fun today, I'm sure, even though there's newer Spider-Man games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, the newer Spider-Man games are just basically
This.
amped up.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
informed by this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's just this is the shell that they make everything else off of.
Yeah. The next one on our list, I actually like this series too, but Mike, tell us about Lord of the Rings Return of the King on PS2.
Yeah, so this is the last one of the list. I think I might actually play this one on GameCube and not PS2, but it doesn't matter.
They're all the same.
They're all the
pretty
same
much,
thing.
Yeah.
But all three of these are really good. They're based off of the Lord of the Rings movies, the Peter Jackson film trilogy, which was huge when we were like middle school, high school. And this one especially for me is like the high watermark. It has like I guess like Gauntlet would be like the best way to describe the way that it plays. Like
Yeah, because you
Gauntlet
can level
style.
up too, if I remember right.
Yeah,
right?
and it's like waves of enemies and that kind of stuff. But it's super fun. The mechanics are really fun. It had cutscenes from the movies in it, in that kind of FMV style. And
Wow.
I had it on GameCube, so it wasn't like the best cutscenes ever. But but it had like cutscenes. It followed the levels. It was so fun. I think it had the VO from some of the actors in it too, maybe from just the movie. But I distinctly remember that you could play as like Gandalf. You could play as all of your favorite characters basically.
Yeah, they all had different abilities too. It
Yeah.
was a really awesome game for that time.
And those gauntlet style games are fun. You don't see those as much anymore. But the waves of enemies, like kind of like what you guys are talking about with the vampire game.
Yeah.
Where it's just kind of like waves of enemies that you're just kind of like having to
just
beat
shut
up
off your
over.
brain, and
Yeah.
you know you're not really too invested in it. You're just like kind of mindlessly going through enemies. It's still plenty fun.
And that's kind of how I would imagine a Lord of the Rings game should be. Like you have armies that you and all of those main characters are just these OP level 20 characters who are just murking everybody. So you'd want to have waves of enemies to destroy.
I remember one of the cool things about this game too is all the background stuff that was going on, because you're battling it out, but there's also battles happening around you.
Yeah.
Which really made it feel like the scale of the area was that much bigger.
Yeah,
you know?
and the AI would like randomly kill people once in a while too. You're like, oh, sweet, thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Finally.
Yeah. So yeah, and all of these are like this one. To me, the Return of the King is just the best version of all three. Two Towers is really good too, but yeah, the Return of the King, it follows the movie really well. The VO, the film, like it has the cutscenes, and the play style is perfect for the genre.
Yeah.
I think it was it by EA?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Because back then
There's
they
like
were
Battlefront. And
they were
like,
doing a lot of good stuff actually. They even took the Bond license at one point and did a couple of the later
Oh yeah,
I
Bond
love those
Nightfire.
games. That trilogy.
they did The World Is Not Enough and Tomorrow Never Dies and
They did Nightfire, right?
yeah,
Was that the-
Nightfire, Agent Under Fire.
Agent
Did
Under
they do
Fire.
Everything or Nothing?
Yep.
Yep, those
And-
are all great.
And
they
it
were
was
all
like,
really
wow, EA can't miss. But now we're like, ew.
Yeah,
EA.
Yeah,
they're getting
EA.
better though.
You
They're
do
doing
something.
better. Like they did a Dead Space remake.
That's
They had
right.
Wild
Yeah.
Hearts. So
Yeah.
they're not. I mean, they're not
This-
anyone's friend, but they're
Yeah.
not as bad as they were.
But if you think about it, like that era, that was EA because they
That
had
was peak.
big,
They had
they
EA
had
big.
they had they had the actual sports, they had big, and then they had these games too. And where
Yeah.
that was they were the top of the world then.
They had a lot of money to spend. They could definitely acquire
And
those licenses.
Yeah.
absolutely.
And like you said, the voice actors they could
Yeah.
get from the movies.
And the cutscenes that were kind of new at the time too. to
Yeah.
have in there,
And this era really feels like that's when developers are trying to buck the trend of awful games, right? Like they're trying
Yeah.
to. They're like, we can do better. People want better games. We don't have to make a whole bunch of crap every single time. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
And we
there's the rise of like the internet and everything, because when you were younger, maybe in the early 90s or late 80s, you see Total Recall or something on the shelf and you're like, oh, cool, I'm getting that. Whereas now, you walk up to that, you're like, oh, neat, I didn't know that existed. You look at your phone and it's like, oh.
Like,
Yeah.
wait,
Never
I'm
mind.
not going to touch this then.
Well, and I say like the graphically and the engines that they built for these games lend themselves more to movies now, because now you can have actual scenes taking place. You can have the worlds there that like inhabit better than just like a side-scrolling mission where you kind of have to make up things for these people to do, because not every movie has like a side-scrolling level.
Yeah.
In it,
That's fair too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on the next one on our list, another Star Wars title. This one was really fun. It's a Star Wars Episode 3 for PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. I think we all played this one.
Yeah.
I
owned
think
it.
this one is better than most people give
Yeah.
credit
It
for.
is. It's a fun game.
I remember Randy playing it a lot.
No, I played Jedi Academy.
Oh,
a lot.
that might have been
I
it,
played
yeah.
this enough to beat it.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the better, just straight rip a campaign out of a movie plot and
Yep.
just go for it. It does it pretty well. Like it's fairly faithful, and it also allowed you to have like alternate endings where you could have been Anakin against Obi-Wan and defeat Obi-Wan, and then
That was my favorite part.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get like presented with the new lightsaber by the Emperor, and he just immediately just smokes the Emperor. and
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's mine now.
It also had like more in-depth stuff. Like when you're Anakin going to the Jedi Temple, you actually like fight like the librarian of the Jedi
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So that was really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
And the way that the theater where like she misses with the lightsaber swipes and like basically like takes off a pillar, and he just uses the force to pull the pillar right down on top of her, and
Yeah.
it was really so cool.
Yeah, the power levels were really cool.
I feel like this influenced how Star Wars games were going to become. Like, what was the one with Starkiller in it?
Gosh.
Oh my
Force
god.
Force
Unleashed.
Unleashed, like Force
right.
Unleashed, and now even the Fallen Order games. Like, it's kind of started with this one. Like, hey, not only is it based on the movie, but this is what things could be if you're a Jedi.
And I would say one thing I want to point out with this is Deuce and I played a lot of the multiplayer. The
Yeah.
multiplayer was
It
so
was
freaking fun.
Fun. Yeah.
Totally unexpected, because it's just like a, it's like a a fighting game almost.
Yeah.
But you're playing with Star Wars characters, and it was really damn fun. Like we played a lot more than we ever expected on that one.
Yeah, that was a pleasant surprise.
On the
Yeah.
other end, do y'all remember the Obi-Wan Xbox game?
Yeah, dude, I remember that game being so hyped.
It was so
'cause
hyped.
It was a launch Xbox game, I believe.
And it kind of took a little bit of like, no, was it before? I can't remember what the plot was now that I think about it.
I
but
don't. Yeah, I don't remember.
I remember
either.
I remember the engine being like really bad and like mechanically really bad. So this is nice to have this instead.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so excited for the Obi-Wan game, and yeah, it just kind of landed with a thud.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so the next game we're gonna finish off this era. It's gonna be two of them. We kind of bundled them together. It's Enter the Matrix and Matrix: Path of Neo. I think Deucy, did you and I are the only ones who had this on our list?
Maybe.
Did you guys play these as well?
I played a ton of Enter the Matrix. I
Yeah.
did not play.
I might
Path
have played
of
a
Neos.
little bit of Path of Neo.
Deucy, dive into Path of Neo for us.
Path of Neo was like the apology for Enter the Matrix. Because Enter the Matrix was cool. It was a side story to the second movie leading into the third. But you were playing as
Niobe and
Jada
Ghost.
Pinkett Smith and that other guy.
Cypher, right?
Yeah.
Ghost.
Or no, Ghost. Yeah,
And it was cool because like you interacted with Morpheus and Neo and stuff, but you didn't get to play as them. And it was kind of bare bones because they rushed it.
And you also weren't OP because you're not Neo,
Yeah.
so you couldn't beat an agent.
No,
but
you had
could
to
fight
run.
them forever if
Yeah.
you wanted to. Like, there's one level where I would just stay and fight an agent on like an airplane for like a half hour because he couldn't beat you, but you weren't allowed to beat him.
Yeah. It's like, I'm good enough. Let
Yeah.
me do it. No, but Path of Neo came out, and this is kind of the game that everybody wanted Enter the Matrix to be, where you are now Neo, and you're going from the early days of Thomas Anderson without powers, and you're training with Morpheus, and you're training with, I think you even train with the Keymaster guy. And then you build your way up through the movies. The only weird thing is the final battle with Agent Smith. You don't fight him one-on-one in the rain. He turns into like this weird
Oh yes,
mech
I
version
remember
of
this.
himself.
Yeah, I remember this.
where
yeah.
he grabs pieces of the city and just builds himself up
Yep.
into this huge monster.
And the ending breaks the fourth wall, if I remember right, because I think
Yeah.
the Wachowskis, like they come on screen as like these little avatars or something. I forgot what they say, but I remember
Yeah.
that being like really bizarre at the time.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that whole thing. Okay, I must have played it then because I remember that whole thing. I remember being very disappointed, but I also remember being very disappointed in the last act of the third movie anyway, and basically all of the third movie.
I was
so,
saying,
so it wasn't like too bad because it was like, well, this movie also sucks. So
yeah. Enter the Matrix for me, I was very hyped to get that because I was a subscriber to EGM and they had a cover issue. They hyped me beyond belief to get this game, and I bought it. And I loved it, but I knew it wasn't as good as it was supposed to be because it just didn't feel right. Like there's a lot of issues with it. I remember there's a ton of glitches, like clipping and other stuff happening.
was there? You could use bullet time, but only for a certain
Well,
amount.
you
of
have
Yeah.
like a meter.
Yeah.
I
And
think it
then
recharged, didn't it?
it
Yeah.
recharged,
Yeah.
kind of like Max Payne. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
one cool gimmick I remember that game having was it had like a hacking console, so you could tell your Xbox to like eject the tray or like it had all these hacking prompts you could
That's
do.
cool.
Right, but then Path of Neo, I remember getting that and enjoying it way more because, like Deucy said, that was the game that we wanted originally.
Is Path of Neo the one where you go into the movie theater and then you start doing a bunch of like whooping?
Yeah.
That is
Yes.
so sick. That's
Yeah.
like one of the best parts of
And
that
one of
game.
the coolest parts of that game too is the big Burly Man brawl where you have like
Yeah.
a bunch, like thousands of Agent Smith coming
Yeah.
at you, and you're, like running around.
Yeah. Because
That was so freaking awesome.
in that theater, you go and then so Wu Ping, who did the choreography for all those movies, he's a very famous director, and
Didn't
he has
he
a
do-
bunch of very.
Didn't he do Crouching Tiger?
Yeah, he did Crouching Tiger. He did
Yeah.
Iron Monkey. He's done Once Upon a Time in China 1, 2, and 3. So he's done a bunch. Go look at him. This is a plug for the Hollywood Video guys. But
Plug away.
Yeah, but like they take scenes from his movies. So like you do a scene from the Iron Monkey finale, which is really cool when you're on these like poles.
Yes, yes,
so
that's right.
so I just feel, and you're in a movie theater doing it, which is so cool. That was a really cool idea.
I should play that one again because I haven't played that in decades.
I forgot all about it. Now you guys are flooding my memories
Yeah.
back because I was like,
Getting
I never
that-
played this
getting
game.
that itch.
Oh wait, I played the heck out of this game. What am I talking about?
Yeah. So no, again, that's a great game. It's cheap. I'm sure you could find it, but unfortunately, never released anywhere else, as far as I know. I think it's locked to those consoles unless you get emulators and all that stuff.
Oh, that's a bummer because it is a great game.
It is. So we only have a few games left, and now we're shifting to the PS3 360 era. And at this point, like we haven't played a whole lot. At least I didn't play like a whole lot of movie-based games because a lot of these like. I think in this year is when they started to release those games that were kind of like related to those movies. Like there was Ghostbusters, the video game, which was amazing, but not necessarily related. Based on a movie.
It was like
Yeah.
a sequel.
Yeah,
It was like a
it was like
sequel.
the third,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, and then there was Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay, which was an amazing
So
game that
awesome.
That
still
was like prequel, wasn't it?
It was a
a
prequel.
prequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of did BioShock and all those, but long before BioShock. Granted, that was like Xbox. And
It was also really hard, I remember.
It was difficult.
It
as
was
hell.
fun though.
Yeah.
It was you thought it was gonna suck. Like honestly, when you get it, and then you're like, "Oh, this game rocks."
I do remember people being like genuinely surprised that reviews were coming out like, "This is a really good game," and they remade it for 360. So at this year, we're gonna cover PS3 and 360. So I'm gonna kick off this list with one of my favorite games from that era, X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I forgot I was going to put this on my list too.
I forgot all about this game
Because
It is
this was
good.
amazing.
So the movie, this is one of the few instances where I would say the movie is infinitely worse than the game.
Oh
Yep.
yes. Oh yes.
So X-Men Origins Wolverine was released, I think, 2008, 2009. It's a pretty notoriously not great X-Men movie. Deadpool has his mouth shut, which is the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
It wasn't a great movie. And then the game, I fully expect to be terrible, but it's freaking awesome. Like, it has it has Wolverine being just visceral and brutal. Like, it's gory and violent. It's just like I don't think it's open world. It's level by level, but it takes you kind of through the events of the movie and adds more. Like, I think you're like in a Sentinel factory or something too. There's all kinds of stuff.
I can't
in
remember
this.
all of it, but it was
No, yeah, it definitely adds to the lore, and it kind of makes it more of a complete story. It's like a director's cut of what the movie should have
That's
been.
the way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys
that's a good
play this one much at all, Randy?
Yeah, I rented it and played it. I don't remember if I beat it. My memories are very faint of it, but it was better than the movie.
Easily.
Yeah, it was good. I remember it being really good. Like,
You could you would take damage and you would see like chunks of Wolverine
Yes.
fly off, and then all of a sudden he would just heal.
That was the coolest thing. Is like you would just get yourself near death, and you could see his adamantium skeleton under there, and you
Yeah.
just stand there. And that was like one of the coolest things on PS3 or excuse me, PS3 and 360 was those kind of effects where you could see him regenerating his skin in real time.
Yeah.
So this game is definitely like a high mark for this era, I would say.
It should have led to an earlier R-rated Wolverine because Logan came out like a decade later.
Yeah, because this game was brutal.
Yeah.
Way more brutal in the movie, and it worked. I think
For
this is by
sure.
Raven Software, who does like
Yeah.
Call of Duty now, and they've had a history of a ton of games too. So they were under good care with this game, but this is definitely one of my favorite movie-based games ever.
Yeah.
The next set of games we'll cover, there's a lot of these, but they were a big part of this era, are the Lego games from Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings.
These are some of my favorites.
Yeah,
my wife loves these games.
They're awesome games. All of them are fun.
They're all the same formula, but hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It's actually at the time when we mentioned that they weren't making very good movie-based games. These were very faithful, surprisingly, to the movies.
Yeah, they
just
were.
in Lego form. Like some of them didn't have any talking, and then they sort of evolved into talking. But yeah, I mean, you can play them with anybody. I've played Harry Potter with my wife, and I've blasted through all of the Star Wars and the Jurassic Park ones.
Yeah, one thing I will say about these games is even though the early games didn't have any voice work, but they did such an amazing job with the animations.
It's so
it
funny.
was genuinely
Yeah.
funny and charming. Like
Yeah.
all these games did a great job of translating big scenes from the movie into Lego form.
I distinctly remember the Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
You were gonna
There
say
you
that.
go.
Go ahead, Randy. You can say it. You
Oh
can say it.
no, it's fine. I was just gonna
ahead.
mention Empire Strikes Back when
Yeah.
you're fighting Darth Vader, and then the scene where it's like, no, I am your father, and instead since there's no dialogue, he's basically pulls out like a Polaroid
Yeah.
of him and his mom, and was just like pointing at it, like, hey, yeah, it's just me.
Yeah.
And I was cracked up so hard when I first
And then when
saw
you
that.
get your hand chopped off and it's just a little Lego
The little
piece
pig.
pops off.
Yes.
Yeah, which is so good. Yeah, those little details are so good. And they still do those to this day.
Yeah.
They're still
the
great.
new one's really good. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's still on Game Pass, but it looks amazing.
Is it Jurassic Park?
No, it's based on the newer Star Wars trilogy. I forget
Oh,
what
that's
called.
right.
The whole Skywalker 1 through 9.
I think it's called Skywalker Saga.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
I like that one. I like those because, and they kind of do the same mechanic in Harry Potter, the whole like force to rebuild the Legos.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
and-
actually building the Legos.
which is really neat.
So
Yeah.
another thing I love about these games are the sounds of like the Legos constructing or like falling apart. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like when you defeat an enemy, like it just sounds like they're falling on the floor like you do in real life when you got them.
Yeah.
So like all the sounds are really good. Like it's a full blown collectathon. Like every level has thousands of Lego beads to collect.
Yeah, the little studs they call them, and then
Studs, yeah.
there's those weird little packs that are the same in like every game. No matter what you're playing, they're like white or something with a little red and green thing.
Yeah, and I would say, like, out of any game that we've talked about, really, this is one where if people don't play video games, you can introduce them to this, and the mechanics and everything about it is so easy to get into.
Yep.
Not only is it like a property that they probably know, like Harry Potter or Star Wars or Jurassic Park, but they can get into it, and the mechanics and the way you play the game is really easy and intuitive. So because they're made for children, so you can really get somebody who doesn't really play video games to get really invested in them.
Yeah,
I forgot there's even I have Indiana Jones. I haven't even played it yet. And then there's Pirates of the Caribbean. on
Yup.
there,
Yeah, I
too.
never played that one.
Yeah.
I think that by that point is when they started to make, it's like Atari where they just made so many that people started to care less of them. So they had
Yeah.
like that point where it was oversaturated. Because by then I played Indiana Jones. I love that one. But I hadn't played Pirates. I forgot all about that till you just mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it and it's like you said, like it's good with any genre almost. They're just really fun and really easy.
Yeah, I don't know if it's been the same developers throughout, but they've nailed every single game.
I think it
It's been
has.
fun.
What are they? Traveler's Tales?
Traverse Tales.
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
Wow, it's great. I love those games.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's. I don't know if I wish they would do more. Like I know they've done Star Wars lately, but I would love to see like a Back to the Future Lego game.
Oh, yeah.
Like I feel like they do a lot with that trilogy. There's so much cool stuff, and especially if they did like open world for some of it. All right. So the final game we'll cover on our list. I think Deucy, only you and I have played this one. This is a weird one because it's the Mummy Demastered, which is based on the Tom Cruise movie, I think from 2018, 2019.
Oh yes, I've heard about this.
Right? But it's very bizarre because it has nothing to do with Tom Cruise. There's no imagery really from the movie except for the mummy. But it's a Metroidvania. It's like a Castlevania Symphony of the Night game.
Yeah.
And Metroid. It's really, really good.
Yeah, I've never even seen that movie, the Tom Cruise
Me
version.
neither.
No,
But I picked this up because it was a Metroidvania. It was like a throwback pixel art game on the Switch, and I was pleasantly surprised. You get like it's a Metroidvania but with machine guns and like
Nice.
modern weaponry and stuff, and it's not too obtuse like some of the older Metroids. You still can figure out where to go and what new thing you get unlocks what.
Yeah, it's really weird because this is, again, it's directly based on the movie, but it might be one of the loosest interpretations of the movie out of all these games we've talked, right? Like,
Demastered is like really good for it.
and it's and that's another gimmick too, right? Because this is a modern game. It was released on PS4, Xbox, like Switch, all of those. Yeah. But it looks like a 16-bit game, and it's somehow based on the movie. And it's like you would believe this is a totally different game if it wasn't just for the title on there.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So that really covers our list. Since then, like I don't think there's been too many game-based movies we've played, or at least there's not that many out as there have been. Like a lot of games are now like it's like a media project, like Shadows of the Empire or The Matrix, where they're releasing things that are related to the movies, but not necessarily directly based on the movie.
Yeah, one that I was gonna say that's not on the list, but that you do play through the movies in it is Kingdom Hearts. Because
that's true.
Each one of those levels is based off of the animation that you're. So if you go to the Toy Story level, you're playing like a Toy Story thing, or if you're doing Rapunzel's or Lion King or Hercules, you're doing like the story of the movie just as the Kingdom Hearts characters. So.
Yeah, that would have been a fun one to put on the list. Although I've only beaten the first game, and like I've played through some of 2.
I've
and
never
I didn't play 3.
I've never even passed the Hercules world in the first
Oh,
one.
it was
freaking hard.
That stopped me too. So I played 3 it was my pandemic game. When the pandemic started, everybody got a game. That was mine, and I beat the whole thing. It took me forever. It was awesome, but it was one of those ones where like, oh, you go to the Baymax world and you're playing the plot of Baymax, and
Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6, yeah. So that was really cool. And I didn't think about it until just now. That's like, oh, it does actually do the plot of those movies. So it is kind of like a.
That just jogged my memory. There's a Lego Incredibles.
Is there?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
It's
at
not
all.
even both movies. It's just the first movie, but it's a Lego version
Oh,
of it.
jeez.
Wow.
I remember seeing that. That's really weird.
That's a movie that should be a game.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. All right, guys. Well, is there any last call-outs you want to send out before we wrap ourselves up in our little episode here?
I just wanted to talk about some of the like movie adjacent games. And I think, like one of the earliest ones was The Goonies 2. It was a sequel to The Goonies, and everybody's like, well, where's The Goonies 1?
Yeah, it was only in Japan.
Yeah, watch the movie.
Yeah, or the movie, yeah.
And then there's another one that kind of came back to me when you mentioned Origins Wolverine, was around the same time, or before that was the game based on X-Men 3, The Last Stand, where another one I think was probably better than the movie because it wasn't based on the movie. It was a prequel to it. And
I didn't know it was a prequel.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
I remember you beat this back then.
You get to play as Wolverine, Iceman, or Nightcrawler. And the reason it's a prequel is it's explaining why Nightcrawler isn't in the movie, not just the Alan Cumming didn't want to come back, but it was interesting because each character played differently, so it was kind of fresh. Like the Wolverine stages very much led to Origins. Like it was just brutal brawling. Iceman was constantly like sliding around on his slide, and Nightcrawler was stealth, and you could just bamf everywhere.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'll call out 2 more to add to that list of sort of tangentially related movies. There's Mad Max, that's on PS4 and Xbox. Mm-hmm. Incredibly overlooked, underrated game. It's an open world Mad Max game that takes lore and story from all the movies. Really, really good. It's Xbox Series X enhanced, which means it looks even better now. Yeah. And it's always on sale for like $4. It's absolutely worth it though. It's one of the better games you'll play. And then most recently, one game that I think doesn't get enough attention for us grades is Guardians of the Galaxy.
God, I love that game.
Oh, yeah.
This is a game that when I finished it, I was desperate for more, and I played like 20 hours of it, and I was like, I wish there was more of this game. I wish there was DLC. Like, I want more of this. I really hope they make a sequel.
Yeah, it was a really good game, but I do hate that I have to do this to you. Actually, that was based on the Guardians of the Galaxy comic.
Well, I said tangentially.
But it fits because this is like a really good Guardians movie.
And it does kind of blend the movie elements because, like, in the comics, they don't really do a huddle up with a song they're about to play. That's really from the movie, so it's a little bit of both.
It was
especially the soundtrack.
Sure.
But that part is I would say the best part of the game is when you get to that huddle up and then like some really awesome songs playing and you're just all kicking butt together.
Yeah, the soundtrack's amazing. I forgot what they called it. Maybe it was just a huddle up or
huddle
something.
Up, yeah,
huddle up, yeah. Where it's like an
like
ultimate move where it boosts you. Yeah, and like it plays like an 80s jam in the background. It's so good.
Yeah, and you had to like was it like a movement thing or like you had to press a button at the right time to make sure that you're you had to pick like a thing like a whatever.
It was like a boost or something.
Yeah, a call out for the group, and if you pick the right one, you get an even bigger boost.
Yeah, it's supposed to like boost their morale.
Yeah,
and which boosts their combat abilities.
Yeah,
and this game hit all the right beats. It's paced so well.
Yep.
It looks incredible. I loved how this game looked when I played through it. So if you haven't played Guardians of the Galaxy, like don't let the Avengers game kind of give you a bad taste for things. Like this is a fresh single player no BS game. It's freaking fantastic.
Great soundtrack and a really great story.
Yep.
So there's really no reason not to play it. Some people might find the gameplay gets a little repetitive, but they do a pretty good job of incorporating new elements throughout the campaign, so that way it's not so stale. That at least you have I have a new ability now that I have to use on.
Yeah, like each character has their own ability, like to traverse an area better or something. Like they do a pretty good job keeping their variety going. And I'd say overall it's totally a win. Mm-hmm. And perhaps that's really how we should end our episode, is on a high note with Guardians of the Galaxy.
All right.
So if you want to send us your favorite games based on a movie, or maybe your most hated, please let us know. We're at legiongamingpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at Legion Gaming Pod, and then we're also on Instagram at Legion Gaming Podcast. Fellas, any final words as we let our friends go here?
Well, just thanks for coming on, guys, and finishing our little 2-part set here.
Yeah. If you haven't listened to the first one on Hollywood Video Guys podcast, you can follow us at hvgpod@gmail.com.
He did it!
I did it. It took a whole other podcast to do it, but I did it. I just can't do it on our podcast. No. But if you haven't listened to our podcast, please give it a listen. We're on all podcasting platforms for the most part. You can find us on Instagram at Hollywood Video Guys. You can find us on Threads and now on Twitter. Ooh. And and we're on Reddit, but I don't know if that matters. I've made a Reddit account.
Someday,
yeah, but we do. We have all of those now, and then also our Gmail. And I'm not going to say that again because I stuck the landing.
I had a great time. I always enjoy coming on here. Hope to have me back soon.
Of course,
if
Randall.
you do like a Metal Gear Solid or anything
like that. I'm definitely doing Metal Gear at some point.
Yeah, you better invite me over, because if I get any sort of intel that it's happening and I'm not here, Deuce is going to be asking Don, like, when did you get what's in the big box over there?
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm going to see a cardboard box I didn't order.
Where's that heavy breathing coming from?
Your house.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely do a Metal Gear episode no matter what. Yeah. But yes, of course, thanks you guys for coming. This was another fun episode. I love talking bad games, good games. It's a great time. Thanks everyone for listening. Have a great week.